Hello!
You guys, we finished the trail.
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Exactly yesterday.
Look at us yesterday. Look how clean we look. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Welcome back.
Wait, you're not wearing your shirt.
I didn't wear it because here's the thing, guys. When we do these lives, I get overheated. So I couldn't. There we go.
There you
Wow. Commitment.
So-
I didn't wear my shirt because here, in full disclosure, if I put it on and then pull it over this hairdo I did for you guys, my hair would be a mess. So I can't wear the shirt because I just start
Let me
sweating.
move backwards and you guys take center stage
Let's
here.
fix our
And I'll
hair.
just be back here.
Ooh, what's that thing right there?
There you go,
Look at
just
that.
like
I've got
that.
like an alfalfa thing going on.
So welcome back. I'm Captain.
I'm Sunshine,
I'm Will.
We're not walking.
but we're still talking. Woohoo! All right, let's get this party started. Okay. So I don't know if you've been on a live with us before, the comments, are these the comments right here, Will?
Yes.
Okay, so the comments are going to be, you guys can put a comment in there. Someone give us a thumbs up. Let us know you can hear us, okay? Katrina, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
Woo! Ice cream tonight.
No kidding.
All right. Okay. So we're really excited. I've had too much coffee. I've got a bit of social anxiety right now, so bear with us. We have a whole bunch of things on my list over here. So if I'm looking to the right, it's because I don't want to forget to bring something up with you. The guys have some stuff. Will has some trivia and some giveaways. Yeah. Wow.
Buckle up because this may not be just half an hour.
This isn't going to be half an
This
hour.
may not.
We're going to be here to answer all those questions.
So
you guys can
if
come
you're
in
watching
and
us
out.
on the big screen,
Sit down, grab some popcorn.
please don't. I was gonna say, hey, please don't, because
And
we don't look that good.
we're
today.
kind of staggered so that we can all fit in the frame. So my head is rather large just in general, but it looks extra large because I'm the closest to the computer because I have the comments and notes and all this stuff. And I'm trying to read oh my gosh.
Her head is rather large.
Now it looks really large. All right. We're going to say this again and again and again, but let's start off with a big, huge, ginormous thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching our vlogs. Thank you so much. I've said it before in the vlogs and I'll say it again when the shit got real. Your comments, your support, really meant the world to us. And I don't want to cry right off the bat, but I'm not going to forget to thank you, but I just want to start this off by saying a big, huge, amazing thank you. We loved vlogging it. There were only about 5 days that it felt hard to vlog. And that's just because of what was going on with me internally. He never didn't like, Sentry says hi.
And she says thank you as well.
She says thank you. She ate some of the ice cream. So we'll circle back to this again, but I just want you to know you are all so Mary, thank you for the super chat. You're so appreciated. I just can't put it into words. I really cannot. How kind and wonderful you were to us. And I've mentioned this before. We've done a lot of crazy adventures over the last 10 years of full-time travel. Some have not been received well. Some people have been really unkind, particularly to me in sailing. And do you know, I was saying to Will yesterday, I said, I think we got one comment that said we weren't going to make it, maybe two. And then a couple of you fessed up. Thank you for being honest and said, I wasn't sure you were going to make it after the tendonitis. And I appreciate that honesty, but you were so supportive. I mean, that is unbelievable. We've done a lot of crazy adventures and the communities are not always this supportive. So a huge
I put my money on you guys.
I
I was gambling on they were going to make it the entire way.
Wow.
That's right.
All right. So I see a bunch of comments here. Congratulations. Hey, everybody. I love the celebration Will provided with you. Yeah. I mean, this was not just Captain and Sunshine. This was the three of us. And it was a success because it was the three of us. And you've heard us say before, we've never ever done an adventure where it's just been two of us and our family before. So it was really quite scary. All right, let's get this party started. We're going to just give you some info of where we've been, what's been happening the last month.
And we'll get to your comments in just a second.
And we will get to comments and everything. We have a very, very international community here. A lot of you have been following us for a very long time. So this doesn't apply to everyone, but I just kind of want to level set and do some housekeeping before we get started. When we travel to different countries, we respect the local culture, whatever that is, whether we agree with it or not. Currently, many of you know we just had an election in the United States. We will not be discussing politics and religion here, although we have very deep thoughts on both. And if you want to see our deeper thoughts, you can watch old vlogs. You can subscribe to our newsletter. You can go to our social media. We won't do it here because the AT is a culture of non-religion and non-politics. It doesn't mean people aren't religious or don't have politics. It's just when you start your research on the AT, you learn very quickly that it's a space where religion and politics are not discussed. And so we fully respected that. And we're going to continue, since we're still talking about the AT here, respecting that. So if you put any comments that relate to any of that, we will respectfully be declining. And if you want deeper thoughts of how we feel about this, you can go find us elsewhere. So let's start.
I hope everyone who joins late sort of gets that vibe.
Yeah, you guys just tell them. Okay, so you guys want to talk about? Okay, let's start of where we've been for the last month. It's been a little over a month since we ended the trail.
A lot of things have happened. I mean, it's funny because where we've been last month, I say we've been here, but that's not true.
Yeah, we've been doing
happened.
a lot.
Okay, so
there's gonna be a whole vlog as to catching up where
yes.
it's been. So when that vlog does come out, just I don't know, plug yours now.
So,
a lot of spoilers.
Okay,
out.
so do you guys remember where we've been?
That's a good question. A lot of it was a very fast blur.
Okay, so we got back to my parents' place. Samuel was here. Avalon was here. Then what?
Then after that, we were in this area for about 3 or 4 days, I think it was, before we hopped on a plane and went to Arizona. And look at that. Mom has her own coffee mug.
It's actually a mug I bought for my mom, but I'm at my mom's house, so I stole it.
Yeah,
I thought it was appropriate.
So we hopped on a plane. We went to Phoenix, and Largo had
Captain.
So
you guys know I could never remember to call him that on the trail,
and I guess now you're remembering.
Now I can't call him
Captain
Largo.
had life-changing surgery.
Life-changing.
I thought you were going to say lice. Lice.
Captain had life. I mean, it's really.
Do you want to talk about it?
I would
no,
call
okay,
it life-changing surgery.
Okay.
I mean,
it's a little dramatic, but it's an accurate statement.
Okay.
I now have a piece of rebar in my chest.
We took it from the AT. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah. We pulled it off one of those rocks.
He found a piece he liked, and he's like, "This one's got to go in my chest."
Yeah. It's got to work.
Came with a tetanus shot.
But yeah, no. So I had a condition called pectus excavatum. Basically, my chest went like this, and so in a very annoying, very tiring surgery. Of course, I was the one doing the surgery on myself. We shoved a piece of metal into it to make sure that it doesn't crush me. And it took 2 weeks to recover, and I still am not recovered. But yeah.
So just to give you a little more detail on that, like you said, his chest was caved in, and it's been like this since birth, and we've been monitoring it, and there were never any issues. But before the hike, we did some more. It seemed like it was getting worse. And so we went to see another specialist in the U.S. We'd always seen specialists outside the U.S. at that point. And they said that it was pushing on his heart and had changed the shape of his heart. And so we were like, oh boy, okay, then now it's time to get surgery. And so the doctor gave full approval for him to go hike the trail, but she said he really should have the surgery before he's 22?
I think so, around there.
And so 4 days after we stopped the trail, we flew to Phoenix. He had the surgery. They put the bars in, and I'll give you guys this information. I thought it was fascinating. It immediately moved the chest. So when he came out of surgery, the chest bone was out, the breastbone. And they said when they did it, they actually can watch the heart reshape to its natural state that it should be if nothing is causing it to change shapes. And so he still has pain, but he had we had 10 days in Phoenix where
Around
we were up every couple of hours medicating him through the night.
First 4 or 5 days I was bed stricken, and then it was back to work.
And then he was back to school. No hiking, no swimming, no driving, no anything for 8 weeks.
How many more weeks left?
I've got like 3 or 4 weeks left around there.
Do you feel it now? How bad does it hurt?
It doesn't hurt horribly. I mean, compared to what I previously experienced, it's a lot better now, but still, I feel something.
It's so interesting seeing the photos they gave us.
Thank you, Brandy.
Yeah, and so now I mean, if you see the photos of before and after, it is truly just interesting.
I mean, we can't see what happened inside, but the doctor told us.
Yeah.
Okay, so after Phoenix, what did we do after that?
We came back here.
And that's basically been
I feel like there were some more things that happened.
So every single time you saw like a day or two of like no vlogs, it's because we were in transition. Like we were on flights, we were here and there, and we were trying our hardest to try to get ahead on the vlogs, but just life got in the way.
Yeah. So we came back here, we started working, started school again. Here is in Maine. We're at my parents' place in Maine until the beginning of December. And then we will move to New Jersey. So Captain can start his flight lessons. And we'll be there for probably about 6 months before we go back to the boat in Mexico. In the meantime, we did a lot of doctor, a lot of dentist.
That's about
that's basically about it.
I don't know.
I mean, he can go crazy if you want. Oh, okay, if you want to go there. Sure.
All right, let's go there.
Why not?
I had a bit of a medical scare. I'm just going to give you the abbreviated version because you guys don't need the whole thing, and we got to get talking about the AT. I don't know, 6 months ago, I found a lump in my breast, and because I have something called dense breasts, they would not do an MRI on it. And they said the mammogram was fine. They wouldn't do a biopsy. And so over the course of the trail, I was hiking with a little bit of fear among all the other fear.
Back up.
Yeah. Did I miss something?
No, because you did the MRI. And it
No. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Let's fast forward to the end. I'm okay.
Yes, we're okay. We're
very,
perfectly
very
fine.
good. Yeah.
The MRI, it came out clean.
I did the mammogram.
I'm sorry, the mammogram.
It came out clean, but the lump was still there. And so they would not biopsy because they said the mammogram was fine. And so over the course of the next several months, I had to find a doctor and I had to get them to approve me to have an MRI of the breast. It took months to do that. And the lump grew. And the good news is that I had the MRI 2 weeks ago and I'm fine. So
I think the moral of the story.
But it was stressful. It's been a stressful month.
But another interesting thing is you recently got your blood work done to reveal some interesting parts about the AT.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't want to tell them. So the cholesterol, everything looks great on my blood work. And I also got a Lyme test done and I don't have any Lyme issues, but my cholesterol, and this does not surprise me, is elevated. I eat like crap, obviously, on there, processed sugar, all kinds of junk, lots of fast food when Will came to get us. And so which one is good and which one's bad?
The HDL is good. The LDL is bad. So
kind of knew this. We've heard about this about the AT, that you look kind of really good and muscly and fit on the outside, but the inside is not so good after eating all the junk. So
I think what happened for you, the numbers came back for your cholesterol, that your LDL went up slightly, and your HDL skyrocketed. So overall, I think that you did have more bad cholesterol because of what you ate, but your good cholesterol is just through the roof.
Yeah, I'm like an Olympian now.
So as long as you take out all the fast food, I think you're going to be just fine.
Right.
And we can blame it on the trail, but the reality of it is, I mean,
don't blame it on the trail. Just blame it on the trail. Okay, so for the update, I feel like there were other things that happened in the update. What else has happened?
That's been pretty much it.
You think that's it? I feel like more has gone down than what we're just
Margot,
shared. Although that was
Captain
quite
had
a
a
bit.
birthday.
Like
Captain had a birthday.
Captain had a birthday. He's 17 now, guys. Let's see. I feel like there was
I think
more
that's pretty
going
much
on.
it.
I guess we've been working a lot to catch up on things, and so we haven't. Well, Will and I have been exercising. We go to the gym every day. I've been doing some walks. No, I've been walking a lot. I haven't been doing any major hikes. I miss them, but it just hasn't been in the cards for me.
And I've been locked to a chair because doctor's orders. I can only lift 10 pounds. How convenient.
It's super funny, actually. When we left the airport from Phoenix, we had there was like strict orders. He couldn't carry anything, and so he was on a wheelchair being taken to the actual gateway. And never in our life had we ever gone. And before we had despite having like little kids, we never took anyone with like small children. You can board early. We never did that. No, except for this time. So
I'm clearly a small child.
Exactly.
I'm just looking over the comments. So, okay. So I think, are we up to date with what we've done? And we kind of talked about what's next, right? Like for him getting his private pilot's license, and then Will and I just kind of working. We'll talk about a little bit what let me just go through some of the concepts. Sunshine, where is your jersey? It's here, you guys. When we do these lives, I get really hot and sweaty,
It's
and
funny.
I just
The
couldn't
only
put it
person
on.
who still has a jersey.
So these
Yeah.
are the story of these are actually really interesting because
Sherry
this,
says you're tough.
this is
Captain.
not something you
Thank
can buy on anywhere. It's not something you can get on Etsy. I imagine you probably could if you talk to the person. But
How
there-
interested would everybody be if
there-
we sold these shirts?
these would be. But the problem is, and look at how.
Well,
cool
we would
is
have to
this?
charge $200 a shirt because
They would not be $200 a shirt, but they would be pretty expensive. So the artist who did this, and you have to call him an artist because when you pay that much, basically
yeah.
you're getting it from an artist. He's a guy who does this stuff on T-shirts, and he said, "Listen, I can do you whatever you want, but the more detailed you get, the more the price goes up." And so these things.
Well
they're-
said. There's no name your price for my height.
Well, that's kind of what it came down to. I mean, there was very little negotiating, just saying, "Can you do it? And how fast can you get it done?" And so yeah, these will never be in the shop. And
I mean,
so
if there's
these are-
enough interest.
these are collector's items.
and they have to be like hand washed and hand dried and
Right. Only
But,
cold water.
yeah,
and
they're
no
pretty
dryer.
specific. Okay, start dropping your questions. We've got some other things we want to share with you, but we'll filter them in when there's a lull in the questions. So someone asked, I'm sorry, I didn't check to see who it was, and I scrolled down. Are you and Avalon next for the hike?
Well, that's an interesting question.
That's a question for Avalon.
That is very good question for everyone.
If you guys remember when we did the Camino, Avalon said, "I'm going to go, but I'm not going to like it." Well, she ended up liking it, and she wrote her college essay about it. But she's living her best life and into all of her things. I don't think taking 6 months off to hike.
Avalon goes 1,000 miles an hour, and I think that this would help, but it's not in the cards for her right now.
Yeah. All right. Question. Brent says, do you feel less anticlimactic about the ending of your hike than a month ago?
That's a good question.
As you noted, you never have finished otherwise. Okay. So
Wait, what was the question?
do you feel less anticlimactic about the ending of your hike than a month ago?
I think I can answer that for you.
Yeah, I'm going to answer it very honest. So do you guys want to go first?
I don't know really
Okay.
understand the question.
So the question is, are you kind of off the high of the hike and have moved on?
I never
Is that
really
what
felt
you
like
kinda
I got
take it
a-
as well?
I feel like for myself.
No. I'm asking you, did I describe the question right?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I never really felt this sort of high from the hike that most people feel. It was a great experience, but I never felt like energized from it. If anything, it was the opposite.
You felt exhausted?
Yeah.
Do you feel like I know you enjoyed it
Of
and it'll be
course.
with you forever, but do you feel like, oh, I really missed the hike? Or as a young person, which most young people kind of feel this way, they just kind of move on to the next thing? Like,
Yeah,
how do you feel?
I've moved on. I mean, at this
Oh,
point,
guys, you forgot about all of us.
at this point, I'm
already.
focused on bigger things, better things. Not better, but more enticing for me.
More in
things.
line with his specific goals.
Yeah.
So,
And so, yeah.
okay. So for me, this is kind of a long answer to a question, guys. So the first, but I'm going to be honest because that's what you want. The first 4 or 5 days, I did awesome. Right? I was like on this high. I mean, you disagree, but on this high, feeling great. Avalon was here. Samuel was here. I was in host mode. We were celebrating. I was sharing, this part of Maine with our friend who was visiting and seeing our daughter and just soaking all this time up. And you can interject at any point.
No, keep going.
And then we went to Phoenix and I got in mom mode and just like, my empathy for him and what he was going through. And he was in a lot of pain and my head was just there. And I was doing okay. And then one morning at breakfast, I just I'm not gonna say I was doing okay-ish. Okay. So when we were going in restaurants and coffee shops and places with a lot of people and a lot of noise, I struggled and I still struggle. But I was doing okay. I thought, okay, I'm doing okay. I had this great experience. I loved it and I'm functioning and I'm okay. I had this cry at breakfast in Phoenix and then I think I didn't do so well after that.
So at the hotel, at the breakfast, there would be a ton of TVs there, as they normally have like news and everything else because that's what people want. And I think the overstimulation of what was happening, and it just got to you.
And not only am I not used to that from being on the trail, but we have like computers that will watch a movie on or something, but we don't watch TV. We don't have in our life, we don't have a lot of loud noises going on. We've lived a lot outside the US, and TVs aren't kind of part of the restaurant culture and stuff. So all of that was very, very difficult for me. So I just kind of removed myself from the situation. Like, this is the culture and the way it is here. It's not the country's fault. It's, I can't adapt to it. And so I just kind of recognized that and kind of stayed away from those scenarios. And then there were a series of things that happened in 3 weeks with my MRI and kind of anxiety about it, and a friend of mine being ill, and then everything that was going on culturally in the country. And then I just went really to some bad spaces, not bad, like I wasn't going to off myself or anything, but I just got into just a really kind of sad and just like, it was just a lot for me to take on after being on the trail. It was just too many things happening at once that I was having difficult processing. And to be honest, I'm still a little bit in that space. I'm getting better. I'm doing what I need to do. I mean, I don't want to go live on the trail. I love the trail. I love the experience. I want to do something like this again, but I don't want to live on the trail. Right. And I'm happy to be back in my life with the people I love, doing work I love. It's a big transition. And I knew this going into it. I just really didn't think it was going to have as much impact on me as it did. So that's kind of the update for me. How about you, Will?
My trail ended yesterday. Julian Lord, I know he's on here, and who
I'm already getting hot. I need to get some water.
Like he said, is it now that the trail ended for me? And yeah, that was once I hit publish on yesterday's video, that was it. I felt a huge not sigh of relief, because I love to produce, but just knowing that the pressure's off to come up with something every single day, that's nice. And so we will continue to produce. We'll continue to put up vlogs, and that's fine, because that's what we do. But just, the rush to the finish line is now there. So,
way to go, Brent, to ask a big question right out of the gate.
Thank you. but hey, I mean, we did what we thought we'd never do. I mean, to be honest with you, we put up like 170 vlogs in 7 months ish.
Which
Wasn't
I think is the most.
Well, 180 days, but it wasn't.
Oh, okay. Oh, wasn't that many vlogs? Okay,
there were zeros in there too.
Yeah.
So that's more than we've done in 3 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it was a big push, and I'm very proud of what we've done. I'm very proud of you guys for capturing it in such a way that it blew my mind. I mean, to be honest with you, it wasn't just walking and talking. It was a lot more than that. So, and when you guys, gave me the footage, it was an honor to go ahead and put it together for you guys. So
you did a great job. All right. Linda says, not AT related. Are you planning to go back to Europe, and what happens with your French visa now? That's a good question. We are going to go back to the boat once he gets his private pilot's license, but we have some group trips that we're hosting in there, and the boat's in Mexico. So we haven't really kind of figured all that out yet. We're just talking about it. When were we talking about that? Last night?
We're actually going to renew our French visas next week.
Yeah, we are going to renew them. We were just talking about, I don't remember if it was at breakfast or last night at dinner, that, this is the first time we haven't had like a plan that branches out like 2 years, because that's typically what we have. So stay tuned. Let's see. Amazing adventures ahead. Love the world tanning tank top. Thank you, Pat. Elizabeth says, I'm with my 5 and 3-year-old grandchildren support, and I give them my attention without the phone. I'll watch later. Yes, go give them their attention.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday, Captain Ricardo. What business or businesses are you and Will involved in? Oh, we're not. We're just independently wealthy.
I really hope nobody takes that seriously, because
no, we work very long hours and very hard. Okay, so what do you want? Let's see. Where do we start with the businesses? We have multiple streams of income. Will jumps in and out of accounting work, which he was actually doing full time while he was doing our business part time and editing a vlog every day. So Will, holy crap, you're a machine. We have a consulting business where we consult with people on the logistics of full-time travel. We have rental property. We host group travel trips around the world. We have this channel, but one of the questions one of you guys sent me is how much time and how much money come out of this, and we'll address that later. It's a very, very small amount of income for the amount of work that goes into it, but we continue to do it because we love it. It's our joy that we enjoy it very, very much. So I think, did I hit all the streams of income?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And I'm a go-go dancer on the side.
We do take donations too, though. We're willing to open up that stream of income.
Yeah, and we have a Patreon account as well.
Right.
All right. Are we hitting trail days in 2025? Swamp
That's a
Fox
good
says.
question.
So here's the thing with trail days.
Here's the thing. Here's the interesting situation.
Someone has prom that Saturday.
Someone.
Will.
Not me.
Excuse me. Will has prom. Captain has prom in Los Angeles on that Saturday night. So he will not be there. I would like to come, but one of us has to go with him, not to prom, but we don't like to miss out on these adventures. So that's still up in the air. I always thought that him and I all three of us actually would go together. We were at Trail Days for 2024, but it's just going to depend on logistically how we can work this out.
We'll see. Maybe we can enlist Avalon to take Largo to prom.
Yeah.
And then
Maybe.
you and I can go to Trail Days.
Right. That's a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
She can drive you in your date there. That's an
Hold on.
option. So it's still up in the air. We'd love to go though.
The answer is
excuse me.
Stay tuned.
Most probably,
Stay
but
tuned.
who knows who's going to be there.
Right.
Stay tuned. Sherry says, if you could only give one tip for hiking the AT, what would it be?
Don't.
Don't.
No.
Boy, you had to think about that one for a while.
No.
You guys, excuse me. I'm really congested right now. I apologize.
I don't know. I feel like there's not one thing that could cover all of it.
Pick one.
I don't want to repeat myself, but take everything
Don't.
one step at a time is
That was a great monologue.
my
a great
little
message.
monologue from the last vlog. Maybe I'm not sure.
Okay. Mine. I think that's great. I mean, I've used that a lot in life when I feel overwhelmed, and Will usually comes to me and says, "Do an Excel spreadsheet and break it down." And I'm like, okay.
Here's another important thing. Have a husband that will drive to wherever you are.
I'm for rent.
Will for rent.
Yeah. Sherpa will.
Okay. Oh, what would my tip be? Excuse me. Okay, I've said this before. My tip would be that don't think you can't do it. Okay. I cannot sit here and say, oh, only the young people made it to Katahdin, or only the skinny people, or only the well-researched people. That was not the case. There is not a stereotypical person that makes it the whole way. All sizes, all ages, all skill level, all research level, every bit of it. You have to be able. The one common thing that I saw that people that made it is that they were determined. They were going to make it. And that's that. And there are plenty of people that said they were going to make it, and I really thought they were going to make it and didn't because they had an injury. Sometimes you can't control that, right?
I think one of the things that we've always, and you said this on the vlog as well, is don't quit on a bad day.
Yeah.
And quit on a good day.
But I didn't coin that term.
No, so. I get that. And then like anything else, just like have a short memory.
Forget the bad.
Like if you vowed to not quit on a bad day and to have a short memory, then anything but good is ahead of you.
And I guess my other thing would be, and I can't remember the name of it, I always forget. Read that book that the guy wrote. Just Google it, about the mental aspect of it. Okay. If you look at the stats from the trek, they show, I don't remember exactly, I shared them before, but they show that the breakdown is not, most people, when they do stop the trail, it's not because of mental. And I tend to disagree with that. I think that there's a mental thing that's struggling with them. And then they say, oh, my ankle's hurting. It's my ankle. When they could have maybe pushed through the ankle, but the mental was too hard. And I think the reason this happens and people aren't 100% honest about why they stopped when it's mental is because there's so much shame surrounded around mental. If someone stops because they're hurt, everyone's like, oh, okay, they're hurt. But someone stops because they miss family, which is mental, or, they're just, I don't know. I can't think of any others right now. But the point is that there's a lot of shame surrounded with stopping because of something mental. And I think that if you make yourself really mentally strong before you go, you are really stacking the cards in your favor. If you're not physically 100% there, you just go slower and you take it day by day. But if you're not, your mental is not in check, it's going to be hard to really work through that and push through that. So that's my 1, 2, 3 pieces of advice. I'm sorry, I went a bit winded there. Let's see. Questions. Oh, Anita, thank you, Brent.
You realize
I meant more
like
that
1,000 other questions.
I know. I meant more the sense you conveyed, because Katahdin was not the final step. A sense you conveyed. Oh, he was asking about. He was asking about the. Do you feel less acclimated about the ending of the hike?
Anticlimactic.
Anticlimactic. Sorry, about the ending. Oh, I said acclimated, I think, the first time. Anticlimactic about ending of the hike. Oh, okay, okay. I don't feel less anticlimactic.
Yeah,
Once
no.
we got over that not being able to summit at Katahdin being our last day pretty quick.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was the reality of us kind of understanding that it wouldn't have been possible, and then kind of making the best of what we could.
Yeah.
I think that was the reality of it, because we really didn't have much of a choice. So I think we just made do and enjoy what we had.
I'm curious
Yeah.
though, how, like, as viewers, like you guys watching it, like when you guys heard that, like, were you guys disappointed? Like, was it like, I wish it would, like,
Yeah,
like,
that's
like feeling like their pain or not? Because I know that when they told me, I was almost like, no.
Yeah, Will you were.
I was like, no.
He was like, yeah, you just
No,
go to
it
Vermont
ends
and then
in
you
Katahdin.
come back and do Katahdin.
Because it was at that point.
You're like, it's not going to snow.
I was like, it's a coin flip, because you didn't know what the weather was going to be like. Yeah, it's going to be like for the next 3 days, but you didn't know it was going to be like 5 days out.
Yeah, you were totally.
And I was like,
that.
I'd say you just gamble. You go to Vermont, then you come back to Katahdin, and then it's done.
And that's one of the times I said, no, you don't know.
Right. And so at that point, she was just like, listen, I'm not going to risk
Excuse
it.
me.
I want to get to Katahdin. And I think it was a safe, prudent thing to do. And at the end of the day, you live to tell us.
So Kelly says, at first, I felt bad for you. Elizabeth said, disappointed, but realistic. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I
Okay,
think
now
that's
I lost where we were on the comments.
That's kind of what we had to deal with.
How did you and I meet? Well, I had a lot of $1 bills and Will was dancing on a pole.
Interesting.
Chicka, bow, bow.
Do you want to tell the 2-minute edited version so that we can get to everyone's questions?
So we live a life of travel, of going all around the world and doing stuff and seeing things.
But before that,
no, and it's interesting because the way we met was we were both in the travel industry, and so I was working for a cruise line, and she was working for a company that put on travel trade shows.
I was actually a graphic designer for a company that did that.
Yeah, and so at the end of the day, we met at a trade show in San Diego. She wasn't supposed to be there. I wasn't supposed to be there.
It was fate.
And we wanted
someone
having
got
to be
fired
there.
at one of our companies and someone quit at the other company. And so we both ended up being on the road that week.
And we met and we did long distance for a year and 9 months.
Yeah. I was living in Los Angeles. He was living in Florida. And then we both moved to New York City together and lived there for 2 years. And then we moved to Los Angeles. And then we moved to Boston. And then we left the US in 2014. And he tells the kind of romanticized version of it. But I had free drink tickets and he wanted more drinks. So.
Yeah, no, that sounds logical. Yeah.
And look, it worked.
That's a story you tell your kids. Well, your dad was wanting to get drunk and
all the tickets.
Oh, yes.
Okay, Julian wants to know, Largo, are you still one and done?
Absolutely and completely. The trail itself, it was fun, but I am not dedicating time or energy to that anymore. I mean, the reality of it is you only have so many 6 months. And the trail is not on my #1 thing to do for 6 months. I've already got that. I've already got that in my calendar. I've got 6 months of flight training coming up, which is what I want to do. So, I mean, if the opportunity presents itself for maybe a week, that's the most I'm going for.
A week? That's a vacation.
Yeah, exactly. That's the idea.
All right.
This is said by a 17-year-old who yet doesn't know what obstacles will come across him. You never know when a good long hike
Let's
might come in
trust-
and help you
Let's
out.
trust that he knows himself.
I know exactly what I'm doing.
All right.
Okay.
Ricardo, best meal and worst meal on the AT. Worst meal on the AT, every single meal that came out of a bag, I had to add water to.
I know exactly. I would say for me, best meal, or actually no, let's start with the worst word. Worst meal was when we left, was it Refuge Hostel? We were unable to get MREs, and so we bought these kind of just this food that we would pour into our pot and just like actually cook.
Cook it in the pot.
And so two things happened that day. The first is that we lost our spoon, and so we were eating what was carbonara pasta with sticks.
Chopsticks.
Literally just sticks. And the second is that it burned onto the pot. And so we were eating burnt carbonara. That was the worst.
In the dark with sticks that people probably peed on.
However, the best was the last MRE I ate.
You guys, I can't top that. Like I'm gonna have to say ditto to that. That was the worst meal we had. That was a horrible. The only thing good about that night is that's the night we met Lentil.
It is.
And I don't know whatever happened to Lentil. So if anyone here knows what happened to Lentil, please tell me because I would love to reconnect with him. Best meal was any meal that Will brought us that came from a fast food restaurant.
I thought you were going to say
And I hate fast food.
that lasagna.
But that was like, oh.
I thought you were going to say that lasagna that you had in New
Oh,
Hampshire.
the lasagna at the Notch was really good.
Yes.
One of you made it for our group, and I'm so grateful for everyone that was at the Notch, and I loved it so much.
And then
Thank you for helping out because my memory's going.
And then there was a trail magic that everyone brought you.
And then
all kinds of.
And then.
Oh yeah, Lynn's lasagna was good. Josie's lasagna.
I
Oh
would
my
say
god.
out of everything, the best trail
Josie and
magic we
Herb?
had was the last.
The best what?
The best trail magic we had.
The
was
lobster rolls?
No, the last. Because midway through the
That's
100-mile
right.
wilderness,
Yeah.
we happened upon this random person cooking hot dogs. It was
Right.
both the first random trail magic that was cooking hot food,
Yeah.
not just any trail magic, because we did have people bring us pre-scheduled trail magic, but also it was just a nice surprise because this was, I think, it was 2 days before we got to the end of the 100-mile wilderness, and so we were running out of stuff, and that was both where we replenished and where we got a great meal.
And we didn't really have that much trail magic. We seemed to get off for like a day's rest, and then trail magic was there, and everyone would say, oh, did you see the guys with the French fries and all the sauce, or the guy with the stew or the grilled cheese? And we'd be like, no. But that day the clouds parted and hot dogs fell, and it was a wonderful
You never
day.
saw fresh ground.
We never saw fresh ground. We're gonna have to go back and see him. All right, Kelly, was the trail harder than you thought it would be?
That's a good question. I don't really think I ever predicted how hard the trail would be. I just kind of expected it to be bad and just live with that. I don't think so.
For me, it was way harder than I thought it was going to be. Thoughts on idea of hiking the Whites in Maine in bad weather? Oh,
Don't.
Never.
Just don't.
Your weather in those states seem absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
I thought about it constantly. If it was raining or sleeting or the ground was partially frozen or frosty, no, I would never, I would have stopped. That's hiking that could be really, really dangerous if it's bad weather. We wouldn't have done it. Sandra, I'd love to see Avalon and Will hike the AT.
Oh, it would be a lot of fun.
I know.
That would be
So would I.
Awesome.
And I would be the best
Video editor.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's not getting off to do
I
video
would
editing
be the
as
best Sherpa Jess.
No, you'd be the best video editor.
I'm pretty sure I would have to take on that role if that ever happened.
We'd have to outsource it. I'm so bad at editing. Let's see. Ivan!
Hello.
Hi, Ivan and Josie. How are you guys? Yay. Oh my God. I can't believe we did it. Joan, after watching all your adventures, how does the AT rank on the list of all the things you have done? Was it more challenging? Okay. Did you like it more or less? Was it easier because it was in the US? Okay. I'll go first. The AT was the hardest thing I have ever done physically in my entire life. Mentally, it was really easy for me. I don't say easy because that's so presumptuous or just so self-indulgent. It wasn't hard for me mentally. But then if you've watched our sailing vlogs, physically I can do that. Mentally, I am a disaster. Okay. So it just really fit for me. How does it rank on the list of things? What are you doing?
My chair was quite literally falling apart, so I had to replace it.
She was in this deep thought, and Largo's just trying to get
We're like a hot mess.
his best modeling pose. Let's go over here. Here we
So,
go. That's
so after watching the Adventurous House, so for me it was physically very challenging. I loved the physical challenge of it. It was hard, and I cried a lot, and I called Will for support a lot. But as I've said a million times, I wasn't stopping that trail unless someone had to carry me off, or unless I was a danger to others. So, was it an easier adventure because it was in the U.S.? There was no language barrier. We understood the food. We understood the money and the cost of things. But the physical aspect of it was so hard. Yeah. So how about you, honey?
How it would rank on the things we've done already, though, I would say just on a general standpoint,
Yeah.
I would say probably second or third, just because
hardness
no, just
enjoyment
in general, as like just a general adventure rank.
Yeah,
I would say it's like second or third, mainly because it was just the two of us, sometimes the three of us.
Yeah,
and I've definitely had more, not enjoyable, but more, I don't know, just more, I want to say slightly more meaningful experiences with all four of us.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I would agree with that. The most meaningful, powerful experience I have had so far is with the four of us when we crossed the ocean.
But with the
it was
question
really
of
powerful, and hiking the Camino together, the four of us. And if the four of us were on this, that would have been the top for sure. It would have passed the sailing. It would have passed the Camino. But
yeah,
it was just stupid. And that's not to discount being with him.
no, of course,
Right,
but
right.
it would have been
we liked
incredibly
the
difficult.
four of us together. This was really difficult to have
Yeah.
our first adventure, just the two of us and not the four of us. And those of you who are new here, we have been venturing and vlogging for a long time, and it's always been the four of us. So just to do it, the two of us was so different and so wonderful and amazing. And this is the new season that we're in because we've already launched one kid, but that changed it a bit because we love the four of us.
But the question as to whether it was easier because it was in the U.S. And I think that's a trick question for us, because I think what makes it easier in one country versus another is, I imagine, to be the language.
Of course.
For us,
I mean, the reality of things.
We speak Spanish as well, so we've done the Camino in Spain, and that was never an impediment at all. We lived in Europe for a while, so
Plus, we have Google.
Right, and things are not things are not sort of foreign to us in other places. So if you're to say Japan versus
I
Spain
also think
Europe?
the reality of hiking is that the language barrier doesn't really exist. Like when you're just hiking, I don't think there's much of a communication there, so it might not pose as much of a problem.
Right, because we're just alone most of the time.
Yeah.
I would say, though, that when we were choosing where we were going to do it, the U.S. worked for logistical reasons for all three of us together. I personally would have liked to have done a trail outside the U.S. I'm glad we didn't, because this proved to be amazing. But I really thrive on being in kind of foreign cultural experiences. And so the U.S. didn't feel like a foreign cultural experience. But now, having hiked the AT, the cultural experience would have been lost on me in any other country if it was as hard as the AT, because all I could do was AT and hike and keep my shit together and remember the 5 things I had to remember every day. So I would not want to do a big thru-hike trail like this in another country for my first thru-hike. I think it would have
Absolutely
all the cultural enjoyment of it would have been completely lost on me, because I was just trying to survive. Jason, you did an amazing job editing the videos. Kudos to you, because it had to be a lot of work. Julian says, thank you, Sherpa Will. Kelly, it was so beautiful. Took my breath away many times. Hiking feeds my soul. I'm so glad the AT brought me to your channel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason, what editing software did you use for your videos?
I edit on Adobe Premiere Pro, and I've been using it for a long time now.
Too Much Garden said, how was the hiker hunger gone post trail? Did you have any problems adjusting to normal portions of food?
That's a good question. I would definitely have to say my interest in sugar has been heightened since we've gotten off trail.
Yeah, but as opposed to what it was like before.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's just...
I don't think we ever had like insane hiker hunger. There were like pockets where we both had it. I think you should answer what my eating's been like since I got off trail.
Listen, I remember the first time I picked you up in the Smokies at the Newfound Gap, and we drove out to go back to our place that we had in Virginia.
Yeah,
and we stopped first of all for like Wendy's and a Frosty, and then within like half an hour, like, can you stop again? Because I wouldn't mind another Frosty.
And then another thing, when we got back midway through the night, you got up and just started eating what was it? Cheez-Its. Just wake up and just start munching on some Cheez-Its.
Jess, what are you doing? And I said, I'm hungry. He goes, what? I was eating the Cheez-Its at like 2 a.m. My hiker hunger coming off the trail was like nothing I experienced on the trail. For like the first 2 weeks, I could not get enough food. I was eating and eating and eating. It's leveled off now. I'm eating less sugar. I was not a sugar person before. Sugar actually really affects me and just gives me dizzy and all kinds of stuff. I ate a lot on trail, and obviously I was exercising and off, so it didn't bother me. But the hiker hunger was there. I think I've kind of leveled out to normal amount of eating now. Would you say? Yeah. But it was a couple of weeks that I was like that.
And you're trying to wean yourself off the bread and everything else now.
Yeah, the bread. Ivan says, is sailing in the near future? Of course. Will, do you want to? Oh my gosh, that's something we did too that we didn't tell him about.
Yeah.
Will went to visit the boat.
I went to go visit Friendship, and so she's doing well. I was there for...
Is Friendship a she now?
Yeah, she's always been a she.
This is news to me.
Yeah. No, I went down to where the boat is, and I dropped off stuff, picked up stuff, and so when we left the boat, she was perfectly ready to go sailing. Now I think
she's dirty.
She's really dirty.
Dirty.
She's dirty, and just and there's a lot of just testing out the systems, making sure that everything's working okay, because a boat's not meant to be left alone, and so we're gonna have to look.
I mean, we've kind of talked about. Sorry, I got to stretch, guys. We've kind of talked about when Captain gets towards the end of his flight lessons and taking his exam, that Will would go back to the boat for like a month or two before and get her ready and rolling, so that we'll eat tacos. So when we got there, we could kind of get going. Nice. But it'll be sometime next summer that we're back on the boat. Karen wants to know, did you each carry a Garmin InReach? That is a great question.
Yes. So the situation with that is we both carried a Garmin from, I think it was
New Hampshire.
From New Hampshire onwards. Originally, we had one Garmin that we normally just split between us. Normally, it was me carrying it. And we very quickly eventually figured out that it was probably a bad idea, because if one of us went just somewhere, disappeared, the other would be just stuck on trail. And so it took a little bit of finagling, but we figured out that, it's probably smart to have 2 people with 2 Garmins.
Yeah, I recommend that you have 2 Garmins. We thought we had covered all the safety stuff. That was a big mistake, I think, on our behalf.
The hard part is that like the AT is such unless you own everything already, but if you're starting from scratch, like what we did, like there's so much of a cost outlay in the very beginning. Yeah. That to say, do I need an additional $500 item when I've already just spent X, Y, and Z?
But it never even crossed my mind that we might need it. I never crossed my mind that one of us could go over a ledge and the other one be like, what the hell do I do now?
But after a couple months, it was like, okay, we can now bring this into it, because it's less on the.
Well, I don't know if that's exactly how.
No, I know it's not how it happened, but I can see why someone would say, listen, we just can't buy another.
Yeah, because it's a lot of an investment. But I remember saying to Will, we're going into the whites. I think we might need another Garmin. Can't believe we only had one. What if one of us, something happens? And he was like, are you sure you need it? And I'm like, I think we really need it. and so we just sold our old one Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah,
now.
because
So-
in reality, if we're not doing a big hike like this again, or if we are, even if we are, it's probably not going to be as dangerous, if anything.
right.
So the only real reason we would need a Garmin is for the boat, and that's the original reason we had it in the first place.
Was for the boat. Yeah. Linda wants to know, did you have a moment when the thought crossed your mind, whose idea was this? Yeah, every day.
Well, I don't think I ever had that moment. I would
Excuse me.
jokingly say,
Because
"Oh,
you knew it wasn't your idea.
no," but I would jokingly always say, "Oh, we chose this" whenever it got hard. But like, I don't think it was really like, "Oh, this is your fault."
Yeah, I mean, I joke around and say every day, but you know, I just always look at it like, you know, if it's that bad and we're not enjoying it, whatever it is, our old life is there. We just go back to it.
Yeah.
You know, and so it was my idea initially, and it was never a dream of mine to hike the trail, and it became so profound, and I'm so glad I did it. So there was not really a moment where I was like, oh, whose idea was this? Let's get out of here.
But I think the reality of it is, it almost, if you looked at it from an outside perspective, it would seem as if it was my idea because I was the one pushing to get there the most.
It's true.
It almost seemed as if I had adopted
You're dragging your mom on.
this idea of we're doing it.
Jason wants to know, what was the average monthly cost? Ooh,
That's a good
We
question.
haven't gone that far yet.
we haven't broken it down monthly because each state was different degrees of expense wise.
Yeah.
Vermont was super expensive, but we got off the trail a lot in Vermont.
And the thing is with Vermont as well, we were there during high price seasons.
Right, during the leaf peeping season. We're about, what did you say, about $20,000 for the 7 months. So if you think about that and you kind of divide that out with your living expenses and food and everything else you're doing, you know, it actually isn't as high as maybe stationary life could be. However, it is more than we budgeted for it. So we had to, we had 3 kids. We got rid of one of them.
We will do. I think we will do a video.
We will do a video
most
about
definitely.
the cost, and that's not including our gear.
Yeah,
just to give you an idea.
there's a lot of video ideas floating out there, and there's stuff that everyone else has done, but I think this one, like, it's just unique because there's you guys. We did ours a little bit differently.
Yeah,
than
of course.
others.
Yeah,
I think a gear breakdown is necessary because ours changed a lot, but that is still very much in the cards.
Yeah, I mean, these are all vlogs that are going to come in due time. Sandra says, blows my mind that you aren't over 100,000 subs. You should be 1 million. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
what I'm saying.
You know,
Let's see. Go with Largo to his prom. He will probably only have 1 prom in Trail Days every year.
The funny thing about that,
he's
there is an interesting story with that.
Which part? The what?
Only having 1.
Yeah, Largo is a serial promer. Does anyone want to take Largo to their prom?
Well,
He's
I'm for rent. I'm the
He's
prom
for-
guy.
He'll even wear his T-shirt. Okay, what's the story?
The funny story with that is, as I am a California resident, for California homeschoolers, they host a prom every year, and so it's not that rare for a homeschooler. I mean, of course, it's very rare for a homeschooler to get a prom, but in my situation, I have an opportunity for the next 3 years. But
yeah, I'm just reading through the comments here, looking for the questions. Thank you guys for all your kind words.
Absolutely appreciate it.
Let's see. People saying at first they did feel bad that we weren't going to summit.
Oh,
Katahdin.
absolutely.
I'm sorry. I know we talked about that earlier, but now I'm kind of getting to that part in the comments.
And
Yeah.
I do have to say, I feel like I have a story with this.
I was just going to say,
I have a story that makes me look absolutely insane.
Ivan will relate to this story because
Ivan,
he came
yes.
right upon us right after Captain.
So
Let me just preface this by saying Captain is not a violent type person.
the
at all.
opposite.
So this was very out of character.
If anything, so we heard the whole story of, oh, it might snow on Katahdin. And as we were discussing this, I will preface this jokingly, incredibly jokingly, I kicked a tree. And I broke my toe, actually. This never went in the vlog because I would look like a maniac. But I broke my toe, and I walked with that for the rest of the hike. No joke. It hurt like hell. And that definitely made the last part of the hike a bit of a challenge, but I wasn't going to stop from
And
there.
I think Ivan came up behind us
Yeah.
when you were sitting there,
He did.
massaging your toe. And I don't remember what he said, something like,
He was like, yeah.
violence is never the answer or something like that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I know, the poor tree. How can anyone be disappointed in Vermont in the fall? Yeah, that's true, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was that last vlog. Look, I just kept, when I was watching, I just kept going, oh my God, so beautiful, so beautiful.
And it was such a great opportunity as well, because when we had Brown Bear, aka Samuel, with us, it was a great they made for great shots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really great. Nanette wants to know, did Largo have to be talked into this adventure?
Oh, absolutely not.
I would say I mentioned it. He's like, what about school? What about my Dungeons and Dragons clubs? And I was like, that's why we're going, because you need a break from all this. But he did have some terms, and his terms were that he still needed to be able to keep his Dungeons and Dragons small business. And that's why we got off every Friday around 4 and got back on around Saturdays around noon. I think he took 2 long week breaks between the sessions, so we could hike for like 2 weeks straight without a break.
Yeah.
But overall, he still got to do that. And sometimes Will would bring the computer, or other times we would stay at a hostel, and then we would pay a shuttle driver to shuttle it to the next hostel so that he could do his Dungeons and Dragons and I could work.
Yeah.
So it didn't take much. I would never have forced him to go.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like when Evelyn said, I'm going to go, but I'm not going to like it. If any of our kids are very mad, I don't want to do that, we would not force him to do it.
Right. And when we say like our situation budget wise was unique, this is definitely one of them. Like, how can you manage work / hiking at the same time? This is one of those things where we just like our budget went up because of that.
Yeah. And there was one of the questions that one of you sent in was why didn't Will do it with you? You all do the adventures together. We just couldn't financially.
And we wouldn't have any vlogs of it if that would happen.
Yeah, you guys wouldn't have got the vlogs, but it wasn't financially in the cards for all 3 of us to do it. There was just no way it could be done. So, okay, let's see. Captain looks great on a resume through hike the Appalachian Trail, right?
I have a lot more on my resume now, that's for sure.
Ivan said he thought you were going to hike the PCT with him. Okay.
Well.
Oh my God! Someone hacked Ivan. Someone hacked him. That's not Ivan.
I mean, yeah, opinions change. Seems like it. I mean,
Too Much Garden says, "What was your most?"
Didn't Ivan say he's never doing this again?
He did. That's why I just said
how
he got hacked.
coincidental.
He just got hacked.
Right? Seriously, it's amazing how like
We're setting up our tramley for PCT 20 whatever. Let's do it.
they said it's like
Call Gentle Yeti.
they say it's like giving birth, that once after you're done,
You forget the pain. Let's see. Too Much Garden knows what was your most memorable on trail camping location?
I think so. This is interesting.
There were so many in Maine.
There were a few. I would say Maine specifically had the best. Maine and New Hampshire had the best locations. It's not to say that the others weren't good. They just didn't really compare in terms of views. I remember a few places. Mainly, what was it? It was the first few months. Was this in Maine or New Hampshire? I'm not sure. We were in some place, and it was just us at a camping spot on the top of a mountain with an absolutely amazing sunset view.
Yeah, I don't remember where that was either, but I remember, yeah.
Yeah, not only that, I would say another one was actually when we were with Ivan in the 100-mile wilderness.
Oh, yeah, that
hiked,
sunrise.
It was 0.2 miles off trail, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. We were on the edge of a lake, and we hit a sunrise that was just amazing.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, Darcy, remind us of your starting numbers and your ending numbers. So we were...
They're
on the Christmas tree. Go grab them on the Christmas tree.
1475.
You can actually see it right there.
We see our Christmas tree.
So the story with that is we're being very unoriginal this year. We just collected a bunch of Appalachian Trail ornaments along the way.
1445 and 46.
Bring one of those over here,
1445 and 1446 for those of you who didn't hear. So basically, we just collected a bunch of AT ornaments
along the way and carried them.
And so now we've just filled our entire tree with AT ornaments. There's nothing else on it.
And I turned
except for lights.
These into an ornament. So my starting was 1445 and my ending was 1027. And here's our Appalachian Trail tree.
And it's absolutely adorable.
There's a couple Carnegie Mellon things on there for Avalon too.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay. Let's see. Will's video editing was spectacular. Some of the best daily vlogs I've seen. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Ricardo says, Will, I can imagine the vicariousness you must have been feeling, but how did you select the music to accompany the videos? At times it brought out so much feeling.
You just spin the wheel and just pointed to one of them.
Kind,
and was like, yep.
I felt her emotion, and I channeled that as to what I was picking out.
We've been together almost 30 years. He's in here now.
There was a lot of times where I was just like, you know what, this needs to have more of a jazzy vibe. This needs to have more of a Latin vibe. This needs to have more of something else.
But I loved how you mixed up. You use like different languages in the songs, and you use like some tribal stuff. And then there was that monologue one. Like there's just, it was so varied.
But you can't use like the same sort of like country feel every single day, because then it just becomes the same thing over and over. So, and then thinking about sort of, if you're hiking, what would be the soundtrack you'd want playing right now? Well, it's not always just peaceful tranquility. Sometimes like
girls just want to have fun.
Right. So, you know, I tried to sort of think like that, and how you mix it up and make it different, because the emotions are from here to here, and I wanted the music to match that.
I mean, if you guys, those of you who have been following our vlogs for a long time, you know he's really good with the music. He brought it to the next level, in my opinion, on these vlogs. Like the music choice was just like unbelievable.
And then I use also a different music provider in this one. And that's just sort of where I get my music from. And so, and the choices there were just off the wall. And so I was super excited to sort of go there. And every single time I thought I used everything that was worth using, I'd search a different way, and I'd find more. It's like, oh, okay, good. This is great. So, I mean, it became just I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful of the choices that I had to use for music.
Don says, Will, as a parent and a spouse, were you ever worried about safety for your family? Just were you ever worried about LARGO'S safety?
Nah.
Okay. You weren't worried?
No.
Yeah, mainly because I was there.
No.
Because badass was there to protect me.
You know, I'm the guy who's gonna stop the bear. You know?
I mean, this is so much different than sailing across an ocean. You know, you are within half an hour of civilization.
And he knows I would never sail across an ocean.
No, I mean seriously, we've done so many things that are by far more dangerous than
I don't know though, because our good friend Doug, I love you. I hope you're here. He said, this is the craziest thing you've ever done. You have lost your mind when we were visiting him during Captain's APs. And I was like, is it?
Yeah, which I'm going to be honest, is
it
the opposite.
It didn't seem more dangerous than sailing across an ocean. So was I ever worried about LARGO'S safety? No. I knew if he separated from me that he would find his way. He knew what he was doing. He was a better hiker and faster and quicker and everything with his thoughts and everything. And after a couple of weeks, he was totally dialed in, and I wasn't worried at all.
There were moments where I saw the footage where you guys were like in New Hampshire and Maine, when I saw the rock climbs, and I was like, boy, one bad balance and it's curtains. But so that did alert me a little bit, but that was after the fact, and I survived.
You knew it survived.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I was just like, okay, good. You know, they live to tell the tale.
Lori says, how have your bodies reacted to being off the trail?
You know what's funny? I think, so personally, I'm in a bit of a random situation here because of my whole operation with my chest.
He can't exercise.
I cannot exercise, but I think it's just part of me being me. I've lost weight. Funnily enough, I have lost like 5 pounds.
So this is a great question, Laura. I mean, all of these are great questions, but no one really talks about their body after the fact. And so we have 2 vlogs coming up after this where I sit and chat with some friends from the trail, and we talk about I don't remember if we did it with the guys, but with the girls, we talked about how our bodies were post-trail. And everyone, again, different ages, different levels of experience, different weight, different everything. And everyone had a different experience. So when I talked to him, I think I was only 2 weeks off the trail. My body has recovered miraculously. I mean, I'm in shock, to be honest. My feet are 100% back to normal, except for a little bit of Christmas toe still. And that took about 3 weeks. I immediately went to get a pedicure, because I was like, I don't want these calluses anymore. And he's like, save them. You might need them. I'm like, I'll grow new ones. And so I went and had a pedicure in Phoenix, and that woman touched my feet. And I was like, ah! My feet were so sensitive. And she's like, oh, like she was totally disgusted by my feet. And that was a great idea. And they've just repaired themselves. They're back down to their normal size. I guess they were really swollen because they actually feels like my feet have lost weight. I had no pain above the ankles, just a little bit maybe on my neck here and there. But the body is miraculous, and it has recovered. Mine has recovered phenomenal.
Yeah. It's crazy what happens when you stop the 1 Snickers a day diet.
Right. From weight, when I weighed myself at the end, I had finally lost some weight. I'd lost 3 pounds, which was fine. I wasn't looking to lose weight. I'm so happy I was able to keep it on. I have put back on those 3 and an extra 2. And I did go down like 2 clothing size, though, even though I didn't lose any weight. And I'm put on a little bit of weight, like in the middle and butt section, but I haven't really put it back on anywhere else. But I'm still exercising and I'm eating very healthy. So I feel great, minus my neck is hurting a little bit because I'm back on the computer, and I have a stand-up desk now, and my neck didn't bother me on the trail at all, maybe a day here and there. And I have a lot of neck and back problems, and the trail was just my happy space for my body besides my feet. So Traveling Art says, first, congratulations on completing the AT trail. Second, as a certified private pilot, I'm curious if Largo will join you on the boat or if he'll stay in New Jersey and continue flying. He will join us on the boat because he'll have another year of university, but we're going to make an effort to get him someplace flying at least once a month so he doesn't lose all that and forget it.
So the idea, I mean, the more specialized idea is basically we are going to be in New Jersey until I get my license itself, and then we're headed back to boat after that. This is depending on how fast I can complete it, because we do have some group trips this summer. Which might interfere a bit, but it depends on what happens there. And then, yeah.
Speaking of, hold on a second, Laura, you should give a plug for.
Oh yeah, he's going to give a plug right now. Okay, hold on, we're going to have a commercial.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have organized a group of, I don't want to say, a volunteer group to join me at this at a school in Cambodia that we recently visited. The idea is that we are rebuilding a library that they have. It's in quite poor condition, and we just wanted to kind of make a change there because the community itself is very I want to say education driven, and I kind of feel with their philosophy. And so, yeah, I've organized a donation page with Luena Foundation, and we are right now just raising for donations and looking for books as well
to volunteer
to put into the library. And then eventually we will bring a group of about 11 to 12 people to Cambodia next summer, where we will actually renovate the library ourselves.
Yeah, and so this isn't one of our group trips. This isn't something you pay us to come attend. We do ask that you make a donation if you're going to come with us to volunteer. And we're actually going to release a vlog tomorrow about the school when we were there like a year and a half ago. So if you want to make a donation or you want to come volunteer with us, all the details will be in tomorrow's vlog. What is that? Will it be all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah.
If you finish editing it, is that what you're saying?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that's a little plug just if anyone wants to be part of it or join us in Cambodia and help out this school. We fell in love with it when we visited last year, and we thought, okay,
it's really
let's
cool.
do something good.
It's in Siem Reap. And so you have Angkor Wat there. There's a lot of sort of other things.
Really cool things.
Yeah.
And we'll probably do like the group will do a weekend trip away to this really cool fishing village that Will and I renewed our vows in when we were there. And there'll be a vlog about that too. So we'll do some group activities outside of volunteering.
But it will not be organized as a sort of,
and you don't have to go on that if you don't want to, if it's not part of your funds or you just need a rest day. So, all right. I probably missed it, but what's your next adventure? I'd love to know. What's our next adventure, Captain?
What is our next adventure? Sitting down in the cold New Jersey area. I am flying. I will be getting my private pilot's license. And yeah,
we'll be working.
We'll be working. It's not much of an adventure, some may say.
We'll be paying for. Will and I got to work really hard to pay for all the shoes we wore on the trip.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's awesome.
And then we'll be back.
What's your next adventure? Jersey.
Which is actually
and
ironic
then we'll be back
enough
on the boat after that.
Because you and I both got pairs of shoes that we had normally worn on trail after the trail as a sort of like a little gift to see how long it would last.
Yeah.
And I have had my shoes for over a month and a half now.
Look at that.
They have not. They almost look new.
They look brand new.
And it's so funny to see how how well you can keep your shoes in good condition when you're not walking for
Right,
12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I think this pair will last you a year.
Oh, most
Probably.
definitely.
Yeah.
Hannah says, my 5-year-old just said, Mom, tell them I'll miss seeing them on the trail. Oh, that's super sweet. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to miss you
Absolutely. Yeah,
too.
appreciate it.
Oh. Jason says, excuse me, Sunshine, are you going to write a book about the AT journey? And if so, do you have a timeline of release? So I have started writing the book. That is kind of part of my like mental health is writing the book, but going back to the trail each day and working on this book and then coming back to this other life is really difficult, transitioning back and forth. It's like crazy. I have started writing it. I've written a couple chapters. Books typically take up to about 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
And it's interesting that it's part of your mental health because for writing the book, you have done the opposite of what people normally do to work on your mental health.
what?
You have locked yourself in a dark cubbyhole with nobody around and have just started writing.
So I need like to go into this zone to go back to that part. And so the other day I said, I need to talk to you for a minute. When you're done what you're doing, come in the bedroom. I'll be in the closet. And so he came in the bedroom and he said, Jess? And I said, yeah. And he said, oh my gosh, you're really in the closet. So I made myself a little cubby in the closet and just kind of, it's dark and the glow of my light. And I just,
This is not like a walk-in closet.
it's not a walk-in
it's
closet.
a
So
very
yes,
small
I am
closet.
writing a book about the journey, and there's a lot of things that didn't make the vlogs and the deeper side of this journey that are going to be in the book. So I will definitely let you guys know, but plan on probably 3 years because I also outside of that work full time. So I got to get it in when I can. Gear breakdown. I'd love to see that. We've done a couple of those already.
Yeah, but
along
doing
the
them
trail.
all in one video is definitely on the
Yeah,
cards.
is in the cards at some point. Please keep the vlogs coming. They're still coming. This might be a good time to just say that. Excuse me. We will have the Cambodia vlog releasing tomorrow, and then we have the next 2 days are the vlog interviews that I did with other hikers. And then after that, we'll go back to once a week. And we're probably for the next 2 months going to be maybe 3 months, 2 months, going to be releasing weekly vlogs that are from before the AT that hadn't got released.
That's right. We're doing the Star Wars version of the AT, where you get the normal AT, you see the entire thing, and then you've got the prequels to see how we were before and how the trail changed us.
And I know this isn't like typical YouTubing thing, but we're not typical YouTubing people. This is a journey of our life and a document of it. So we don't want to scrap all that material. So you can get to see us before. And then we're going to start. And also we're going to be in New Jersey working a lot, and he's going to be doing flight. There's not going to be a lot really to vlog and go on. We will still have adventures, but we'll probably be all caught up probably by like end of February, March, depends.
Pretty much.
And then we'll start vlogging where we are currently. We'll be on the last couple of months of our time in New Jersey, and then transitioning back to the boat and running our group trips and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of a breakdown of that.
Absolutely.
Stat on the trail says it was cool to meet you on your last day. I know, that was so cool. We met you on our last day in Vermont.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ricardo said this is almost a Forrest Gump stops running moment.
Yeah, no kidding.
It feels like that for us
We've
too.
stopped running, and we have literally just done the opposite, which is just sit down and never move.
Right. Okay. So, Captain, have you been practicing your Spanish?
Claro que sí, of course. I mean,
That's Ivan. Let's see. I love the Christmas tree. Always buy an ornament on vacation. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I went kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Some of
we
them were
did go a
heavy,
bit
but
crazy.
We all went crazy on that.
yeah,
one.
yeah. I know.
I didn't touch a single ornament.
I just asked him which ones he wanted, and then Will showed up with like 5 ornaments. So I said this below the line on another vlog, but it's truly amazing that your last day was to home in Maine. Yeah, I know it was really. I mean, we were exhausted by the time we got here, but
We got here. We had Avalon surprise us. I mean, it was magical.
yeah.
It was cool.
And On says, oops, it just popped up a bit. Are you satisfied with everything on your journey? Did you see everything you wanted to see?
Absolutely. I think we could have. I mean, of course, there's things that you maybe wanted to do or didn't get the time to do, but I think out of everything we did it right.
Yeah. I'm happy with the way it turned out. I mean, I had no expectations. Like we've said before, because we decided at the beginning of December to do this, and we had a lot of work and hosted 2 group trips, between then and when we got on the trail on March 22nd, we didn't get to watch a lot of vlogs or anything or do a lot of research. We just did gear and safety stuff. And so we didn't really have any idea of what it was going to be like. And there's actually some benefit in that. I loved it because there were all these little surprises. And I think I mentioned it in one of the vlogs that we were on trail. I think you had just put us back on trail. And then was it the Cookie Lady Day? Someone said to us, "Oh, you're almost to the Cookie Lady. She's a mile up." And I'm like, "What's the Cookie Lady?" Like we had no idea about the Cookie Lady. And so it was like a surprise 20 minutes away, you know? So,
and I think the reality of that is that really helped us through because keeping it like interesting and unexpected and exciting really gave us like a leg up or almost distracted us for the first few months of the trail.
But if you are the type of person that needs to do all the research, you need to know what's coming down the line for your sanity, then do it. You know, you hike your own hike. Let's see. Ricardo says, "We know you already have so much going on. When do you anticipate the following: gear, video, finance, compilation video? No rush, no pressure." Okay, so I'm not sure, but I would say we'll sprinkle them in over the next couple of months. I'm not going to shoot any of those videos until after Christmas. We've got a lot going on the next month. We've got to relocate to New Jersey. We've got family time. We're going to spend the first Christmas with both of our families in Florida we haven't done that in a decade. And this one needs some recharge time. So, and I'm still mentally adjusting back to this life. So I don't see any of that happening until after the holidays. I don't know about the compilation one. That's a lot of work on him. And so he has to, no pressure, Will. But I think that he needs to decompress and kind of take a break for a bit. And then he'll come back firing and wanting to do it. But right now he definitely deserves a break. So, but they're coming. They're coming. It's just when it comes, you know.
I look at the compilation / whatever you want to call the documentary, the this or that, and to do it the way that I'd want to do it,
it would take a lot.
It would take a lot.
Yeah.
And so do you not do it because it's a big effort? No. But
you got to carve out the time.
Yeah, but we need a schedule change if that's
I don't know how I need to figure out how
Will needs an assistant.
I need to figure out how to carve that in.
Elizabeth, sorry, go ahead. Elizabeth wants to know the temperature in Maine in July.
That's a very good question because it varies. For July itself.
No, she meant early June. Sorry, early June, she said. Early June is
I'd have to turn this over to you because
56. I mean, it's not cold. It's getting warmer, but it's not like July, August hot. So,
but it's definitely not 50s, as hot as Virginia.
50s, 60s, depending on if it's a rainy year or not. I think why you're asking, Elizabeth. Yes, come with us. Come on, you can do it. The temperature is going to be good enough. Don't worry. Will, great job on the music. Kudos, Captain, on the book drive. Great contribution to the people of Cambodia. Sandra says, I remember Doug. He was having drinks with cute umbrellas with us on the beach in Hilton Head. He's still talking about how crazy you are to hike the AT. He won't let it go. I know, Sandra. I'm going to come and kick his butt. Oh, my gosh. Thomas said, we'll definitely be buying the book. Spire says, Captain, have you thought of writing a book as well?
That's a good question.
Not sure if there's one from a younger age group.
Yeah, that's an interesting option. I would definitely say it hasn't come across my mind yet, but there's a lot of logistics and time I know that you're going to be putting into the book itself. I don't know I'll have.
I'm thinking about having some of his perspective in the book.
Yeah,
though, and Will's
definitely,
as well.
I think as a concept that would be very interesting. And if I had the time and the energy and the interest, I would probably do it. But right now is not kind of the right time. I've got a
very well said answer.
I've got a lot going on.
You guys, he's just barely 17. Holy shit!
I would have said, hell no. I'm not writing a book.
Well, it was quite diplomatic, wasn't it?
No, I think as a concept, it'd be really interesting to see kids' perspectives because most kids the rare kids that come on this aren't writing books, but
I did listen. So I read someone actually mentioned the name. You guys, if you want the name of the mental aspect of the trail book, trail trials or something like that, someone put it in there and I forgot to say it out loud. Thank you for dropping it in the comments. I also listened to the book on tape of I think it's called 2000 Miles, the family that did it. And they had kids' perspectives in there, which I thought was really interesting on the audiobook aspect of it. So you actually hear the kids talking and they interviewed. So that might be a really cool thing to do on the audiobook portion of it.
That'd be interesting. As
and
like
there will be an audiobook.
As a standalone book, that'd be definitely, from a kid's perspective, cool to have. I'd love to do it when I find the time. I would love to do it.
Maybe you need a ghostwriter. Are there any
maybe.
ghostwriters here?
if anybody has a ghostwriter that can write a book and only
Contact
take
Captain.
like 10, 20 hours of my time, that'd be fine. I would willingly do that.
Tamara says, my daughter Jessica says your hair is awesome. Oh, thank you. You guys, I did this for you. I went to the gym. I showered. I repinked my hair. I put all these little ponies in here.
I did one of them.
Will did one of them. He was going to do the whole back, but then it was hurting too much, so I had to do it. I put on glitter.
It's crazy. We did so much. We showered. We showered.
I would say that I've taken on trail hygiene has brought into the real world for me. I haven't been.
Which is interesting because so recently I went to have my teeth cleaning, and they didn't really react negatively to it.
He had no cavities,
which is crazy because sometimes on trail we would have to skip brushing our teeth just because
only sometimes
because being tired and some such, which is very interesting. And so I mean, including all that with the sugar that we ate the entire time, it's a really a shock that nothing has been.
We will report back because Will goes next week to the dentist and I go the week after. And I think that.
And your cousin is cleaning.
And my cousin is our teeth cleaner.
That's so.
And she's
gonna be shameful.
She's gonna be real honest.
I feel like going to the dentist.
She's not gonna candy coat it.
It's like going to confession. It's like, I'm sorry, I haven't been a good teeth brusher.
Ivan says, when you get to New Jersey, let us know. We'll come by to say hello. We live in Maryland. Yeah, we should do a meetup with Gentle Yeti too, because he's in New Jersey. Too Much Garden. I want to thank you for inspiration you provided. This year I returned to the AT after being away for 12 years. Oh, wow. Awesome. That's awesome. Ricardo says, I'll be living the dash. You guys, I didn't coin that term just so everyone knows, but I heard it from a shuttle driver and I fell in love. So those of you who don't know, living the dash is basically, on your tombstone, there's a birth and there's a death date and there's that middle dash, that's what are you doing with that middle dash? Because this started you and this ends you, but what you do in the middle is what matters, right? So, and this does come, this end part. So you got to make the most of that middle. Let's see. Love watching every step of the way, seeking peace. What is Will's relaxation plan?
That's a good question.
I don't think.
This is
a very interesting question because it's not going to be like an all or nothing type thing.
You started this morning.
No,
you went to the gym, you meditated.
Well, we've been doing that already for the last couple weeks. We've been going back to the gym. But the idea is that, because we're done with the vlogs, doesn't mean like that's it. I can sort of just hang up my hat and I'm done. We still produce other content and we're still going there. And so, I think what it'll do is it'll allow me the ability, if I want to take an hour and just sit back and have a conversation, because we're not pressed to get a video out tomorrow, I can.
Yeah.
And then from there, it'll sort of grow to be more if I want to take like we're going to go for an afternoon and go hiking just like that, have more of a more conventional life. But our life like this that we've done of full-time travel, we don't get to live this life because we relax. We're pushing ourselves because, this thing doesn't happen just naturally. We have to sort of fight for it. Yeah. So I think
we want to keep this life.
Right. And so we're not going to produce content every day. So there will be more of a balance going forward, but I think it's just more of allowing myself the ability to exhale a little more. I think is the way.
If it was possible, I would hike every day of the week and produce a vlog every day of the week. But
would this be you producing the vlog, or
I would hike every day and Will would produce a vlog every day? No, I mean, in an ideal world, I would love to do 4 and 5 month long hikes with Will once Captain launches and have that be able to sustain us financially, and daily vlog it. But I don't see how that's possible, but I'm still thinking on it, guys. Okay. Jet V says, let's see, there was a question there that did you ever feel isolated on the trail? Never, because I was with him all the time.
First of all,
Did you? I mean, you were
no.
stuck with an old lady.
So the interesting part about this is a lot of people do feel isolated on trail, and
Yes, it's real.
That's for a number of different reasons. Sometimes they are with people, but they just miss maybe their family or friends that they have.
We need people.
But
even
I
if we need a
think-
break from them, we need people.
I think we're so used to being either the three of us or the four of us in any situation that I think we were less susceptible to it. I mean, the reality of it is you will get lonely, you will feel isolated, but I think we're more resistant to that than anything else. I never really felt it. I don't know about you though.
I didn't either because I was with him. I mean, I miss Will and I miss Avalon, but I'm used to missing Avalon. I really miss Will. I personally don't ever, I'm not going to say never, don't ever want to do a 6-month hike without one of my family members. I really, I realized through this hike that I really need people.
So you're saying
and I miss my people a lot. I don't think I could. I mean, I had the luxury of going with him. Now, I mean, someone else might chime in here, Ivan, who just hiked it and said, you know, he missed his wife as well. I just don't know if I could. Like, I'm not underestimating my ability. It just seems so far from my realm of being able to comprehend that right now. And then one of the questions one of you sent in was, you know, do I wish I did a hike like this with Avalon? And will I go out and hike on my own for 6 months in the future? And so I don't wish I did a hike like this with Avalon and I, because, you know, Will and I have been together for a long time, and we can separate and take a break like this and go hike in the benefit if one of us is going with one of the kids. I don't like it, but we can do it. I don't want to leave one kid behind and go hike with another. I could not have gone with Avalon and left Largo behind. And it's not because I feel like he wouldn't be fine with Will. It's that we get 18 years, give or take a year. Maybe there's a bonus year in there, or maybe they actually leave before 18. I don't want 6 to 8 months away from one of them. I just don't. And I know
but you're
that,
saying though that you would do the PCT with me then. That's basically also what you're saying. So after
Probably.
Largo goes to college.
yeah, if it's financially in the cards, I would. I left. Okay, so you gotta hold on for a second.
I'm gonna snapshot this and play it back.
Wait, let me finish the other thing. My thought is that, like, I'm not going to go hike. I would love to go for like a 3-month hike, but I've got a year and a half left with him. I've got a lifetime with him. I got a year and a half left with him, and I don't want to be away from him for even 3 months. So there will be no 3-month hikes for me until he's launched. And yes, I would consider a PCT hike. On the trail, there were days where I said, I am never doing this again. And then there were days I was like, I could live on the trail. Like, I was like, kind of like this, as I think many other people are as well.
Yeah, I think that's the reality.
And
that's the reality of the trail.
Yeah, I'm saying it here that I would probably go on the PCT with you, Will. All right. Let's see. Captain, what inspired you to get a pilot's license? Are you looking to work for the airline or own your own plane?
So I'm interested in working for airlines. And so you either have military route or just normal getting your license for each one. And I mean, that's pretty much what I'm interested in going to college, signing with an airline, and yeah, getting all those licenses and being a pilot. But yeah.
Spire's Family Adventure says, is there anything you used to do regularly before the trail that you no longer do? Oh, that's a great question.
I don't think
I used to brush my teeth. I no longer do that. What, you might be able to answer that better. Things that we did.
Things that
I didn't
have
exercise
changed.
as much as I do now before the trail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the trail kind of kickstarts your exercise. If anything else, it gives you a very clear boost in strength, and that kind of gives people the motivation to work out more than anything else.
I'd have to think more about that question.
I think
we're definitely eating far healthier than we were previous, but I think that's more because
ate pretty healthy, though.
Of course, but that's also, I think, more because we went to such extremes. Like when we were on trail, we were eating like garbage. I mean, the worst possible.
We've never eaten like that in our entire life.
Yeah, exactly. And so it pushed us more to be, I don't know, concentrated on that.
I know something that I did before the trail that I'm not doing now is I'm working less. I'm very conscious of it. I have days where I kind of drop back into my old habits. and just work insane hours. And I'm really, really trying desperately to have a good balance. It's something that I didn't know I wanted to work on. And when I got on the trail, I kind of said, okay, I want to work on my perfectionism and my workaholicness. And I still am jumping back into old patterns from time to time. He has to remind me, I have to check myself. I meditate, and I'm like, okay, have more balance in your life. I really love the work that I do. So it makes it difficult for me not to work because I so enjoy it. It doesn't feel like work, but we need balance in our life. So
I think the other thing that happened is because we were apart, we had to sort of learn to live apart. And so I think now and this is a good thing. I think that we're less emotionally codependent on each other.
Yeah, mom's just gotten codependent on me.
it's so I think, because that it's never a healthy thing to be that codependent on your partner.
No, and Will and I are kind of codependent.
Right. And so I think it's a lot easier now just to just to separate more than anything else. Just to separate her emotions from mine. Yeah. And vice versa.
We're big feeling families, so we're all HSP here. So
yeah.
Elizabeth said, "How about the Portuguese way of the Camino?" Will and I have already talked about me going and hiking a Camino for 2 to 3 weeks in the spring. I don't want to be away for more than max 3 weeks from the guys, and I know that neither one of them could go with me, particularly him because he's going to be right in the height of the flight stuff. So it's definitely on the books. Sandra said, I watched a few of your videos before Lemonade last night. Alvin and Largo were so cute and so little. Yeah. So one of the adventures we've had is that we bought an RV and RV'd around Europe and worked out of the RV and homeschooled the kids for 3 years.
But before that, I mean, that's the archives. I mean,
that's Lemonade was the name of our RV because we bought a lemon and then we bought a lemonade. We turned that lemon into lemonade. So
the day the Katana video came out, afterwards I threw on just for kicks.
Hey, Stephanie.
I threw on one of the videos from the Camino, and we're just like, look how cute Largo is.
Okay. We are caught up on questions, but I've got some that people sent in that couldn't make it or wanted questions. But I think that we owe you guys something. There is something that was a tradition for us in the vlogs. And this is a good time for a giveaway, Will. Okay. If you're the first to comment and you win a giveaway, you need to email me your address or you're not getting your gift, okay? My email address is jessica@worldtowning.com, okay? The first giveaway, we're going to throw one in here right now. You're going to get, what are they going to get, Vanna?
Get him away.
Okay, he's going to get it ready and I'm going to ask the question. Okay,
you
will get
a World Towning
recycle bag.
And these are actually really awesome. We've had these. We had the first one we took out of the bag, which was years ago, and it's still going strong. And we've put this thing through.
Yeah, well, not that one. That's a new one. But you get a sticker and you get a World Towning AT patch.
So we got 4 sets.
We're going to do 4 giveaways. We're not going to do them all at once, but okay, you have to email me. Don't put your address in the comments or I won't see it. Okay, here we go. There was a tradition that we did for every state. And we skipped it in one state. What was that tradition and what state did we skip it in?
Boy, you got to.
It's one of the big ones, guys. Wow, it's like almost as big as the number on the ground.
Listen, you will
sing. Deborah got it. Where did we not sing, Deborah? Where did we not sing? What state did we not sing in, Deborah? Come on, Deborah. Come on.
Good if you get this.
There were 14 states. Come on, girl or boy.
Wow.
Vermont.
Yeah, wow.
Deborah, you're a winner. Okay, Jessica@worldtowning.com and put in what you want. Put in what the question was. Okay. Now we have to sing.
Props.
Yes, good job. Okay, now we got to sing. What are we going to sing? We don't have this rehearsed, guys.
No, I didn't actually know.
Pick a song.
I'm walking away.
What's a song that we all know?
What? Seriously?
I'm sorry, I just sprung this on the guys.
There goes Sherpa Will.
Sherpa Will. He's like, I gotta go to the bathroom, but this is not my hike. Okay, you want to do "I'm on Top of the World"?
Sure.
We already sang that, but do we know the words to that?
Why not?
Do you know the words to that? I'm on top of the world. Hey, that's all I know.
Wait, hold on. Is "Walking on Sunshine" a song?
Yes, it is. "Walking on Sunshine" is a song, but I don't know the words. Okay, get your phone, and we'll read the. Okay,
Hold on.
I'm gonna look at the comments while they
I
pull
got
up the
it.
song, and
I
we're
got
just
it.
gonna follow the notes on the song. Very good, Deborah. We saved that for you. Okay, while he's looking at the song, a couple other things to share with you guys. We decided we were gonna only do 3 podcasts about the trail, and we decided on doing one that was hiking focused, one that was travel focused, and one that was parenting. So we just taped the one on parenting, like this kind of being a bold parenting choice and whatever, with under the influence with Joe. It hasn't released yet, but we let you guys know when it releases. We tried to tape Mighty Blue with Steve last week, but there were some technical difficulties. So we got to reschedule that one. And then this week, we're going to be doing Zero to Travel with Jason, and that's the travel-based one. And as soon as they release, we will put them on Facebook or Instagram. We won't put them here because we
could put it on the community tab.
Oh, we could put it on the community tab so you guys can listen to them. So one's travel focused, one's hiking focused, one's parenting, but they all circle around the idea of hiking the trail and whatnot. Okay. So you see Jet B is like, there goes Sherpa Will. Okay. Do you have?
Yes.
And those of you who are wondering about our podcast, which we put on hiatus through the trail, we're probably going to start taping in a couple of weeks. So hopefully before the holidays, before the December holidays, we will have some up, but there's going to be an interview with Captain. He's going to interview the 2 of us. We're going to interview Avalon of some things that are going on in her life and just some updates. There's a lot of stuff we need to share.
We're looking forward to getting back to the podcast.
We are looking forward to getting back to the podcast. We love doing the podcast. All right. Let's see. Okay. Do you have the song?
So yes. Do you want the audio or?
I think we might need the audio.
Right.
Well,
I don't know. We're so good
you
at
have
the
to-
singing
you have
thing.
to
Like,
make it low. So
all right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna have to read. We probably should have practiced this and then surprised you guys. You'd be like, "Oh my gosh, they really don't suck at singing."
All right.
Okay, you ready?
Hold on. Do you want me to skip to the?
Yeah.
What? No, let's just. Okay.
No.
Boop, boop, ba-doop, ba-doop. You guys, I can't do this alone.
Ba-dum-bum-ba-dum-ba-dum-ba-dum-bum.
Used to think maybe you love me. Now, baby, I'm sure.
I just can't wait
till the day that you knock on my door.
Now
Every time I go to the mailbox, I gotta hold myself down. Cause I just can't wait till you write me. You're coming around. Oh yeah, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, and don't it feel good?
Yeah, that's
There you
it.
go.
Oh my gosh, everyone dropped off the live.
Oh, wow, that's weird.
Oh, you guys, thank you for humoring us. Everyone turned down their volume. They're like, what the heck? Okay. Let's see. Ivan, have a beautiful Sunday as well. Getting a little dancing. Exactly. All right. Let's see what else we got on here. I told you about my blood work. So I have started responding on the trail with your comments. I think I said this before. I always read them and I hearted them unless you said something mean, and then I just ignored it and moved on. There weren't too many mean, so that's good. I am trying to respond to every comment personally for the last vlog because I have more time now and I just want to really show our appreciation for you guys. So
that's right. So if you have any specific questions, I mean, probably just send them in here. Well, I mean,
all right.
but yeah,
I got some stats for you guys, and then I've got more questions. So I know if you have to go, you have to go because we're keeping you forever. But I know also want to give you all the answers. Okay, so there were 2 things. Okay, here's a giveaway. Okay, there were 2 things. There was one thing that we never did on the trail that almost every other hiker did.
well, this
Okay.
is interesting.
What is it? There might be more than one thing.
I mean,
but
I'm sure
the one
there
I'm
is.
thinking of is a big, big deal. It's something we never did. We did not consciously never do it. We always thought we would do it. Slept with their food. We didn't sleep with our food, but that's not the one I'm looking for. Sorry.
It's a very
But
one-sided.
you are kind of close.
with the
there's some-
topic.
Yeah. You're kind of close there, Swamp Fox. Most people did this on the trail. Hike naked. No, I did that.
Yeah, most people normally don't do that. I'm sorry to say.
I love that, hike naked. I didn't even see anyone on naked day. Let's see. Sleep in a shelter. Dawn, you won. You beat Sherry. Sorry, Sherry. Yes, we never slept in a shelter. You are the winner of a bag, a sticker, and a patch. And there are some other things that we never did there, guys, but the slept in the shelter one was the one that I was looking for. Yeah, we slept in our tent at shelters, and it wasn't a conscious thing. We just, the 1 or 2 times where we got to the shelter, we're like, okay, we're sleeping in the shelter tonight. That's it. We're doing it. And then the shelter was like a half mile off trail. I couldn't do it because there were no people there and I was scared. So we did use, but to answer your question, hiking in the wrong direction. Did we hike in the wrong direction?
I don't think we ever did.
I don't think we did that. Did we? We use a bear hang. We did use a bear hang. We had to through the Smokies.
That was a modified version of a bear hang.
Yeah.
You hung your backpack.
We hung your backpacks.
Yeah, but it was on a
it was on a little pulley system.
So we didn't have to throw our thing up or anything. Okay, I said this on the vlog. Okay.
There's a couple things you guys didn't do. You never slept.
Wait, we got another one coming.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Something, and I mentioned this in a vlog, something I never did on the entire trail that everyone that has this does. You did not set up your tent in a shelter.
Close.
That's kind of, I think that could win. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Julian? Elaborate on that. I think Julian's the winner, but Sherry might be if Julian's not. Yeah, I never set up the tent. I actually don't know how to set up the tent. I did it once with Captain, but I before we got on the trail, but I never did it again. A lot of you saw that one. Okay, we're gonna give that one to Julian and Sherry. So make sure you guys email me your address.
But you never slept with the rain fly off either.
We never slept with the rain fly off.
There's a lot of things we never did, but I mean, in certain situations, like for most of the summer, we switched tents, which meant that we couldn't sleep with the rain fly
because we didn't have a rain fly.
And I mean, that would have been mostly the opportunity we have had. But yeah.
We slacked. I have it written down, but I didn't have it completely updated. I think we slacked around 30 times. Shoes. I had 10 pair of shoes. Captain had 9. But one of my pair of shoes I only wore for like a day and a half, those oboes. And I just sold those oboes to a man that was so happy to have them. So I'm so happy that they went to a home that wanted them because this home did not want them. Captain saw
they were a neglected child.
Captain saw 5 bears. I saw 1 bear in the wild and 1 in the woods. Snakes, we saw 5 billion rattlesnakes. How many boars did we see?
1.
But it was a family.
Yeah,
so
a unit.
A family of boars. Deer, and fawns and all that, bazillion. How many porcupines did we see, Captain?
Did we ever see a
You saw one. That was that
That's
cute
right.
thing. You didn't know what it was.
Little waddling thing. That was cute.
I'm doing trivia with Captain now. How many turtles did we see, Captain?
None.
2. How many moose did we see?
Well, we didn't. Oh, no, 2.
How many moose how many moose hit us?
0.
1. How many fisher did we see?
I don't know.
Fisher was that thing that was chasing the rabbit that day.
1 thing.
1. How many beer stings? Beer. Bee stings.
I don't actually know.
I had 1 bee sting.
Oh, really?
How many blisters?
None.
Not many. We had a couple, but not many.
Very few, honestly.
How many frosties did we have, Will?
As many as we could fit in our mouth.
Good. How many nice people?
All of them.
All of them. All of them. Really, really. Okay, Dawn wants to know, did you ever go swimming on trail?
No.
No.
This was something that, I mean,
we thought we would.
Yeah, we considered it. I think the reality of it is we never packed any sort of towel or anything to dry ourselves off because every pound mattered. So if anything, we would ever go swimming would have probably been a slack pack day, but
I would have went swimming without a towel in that 80 to 95 degree temperature that we stayed the whole 18 months in Virginia. But the problem is there was really no place to swim in Virginia. Everything was dried up and it wasn't like a swimming.
It just didn't happen.
Maine was the place to swim, but it was 52 degrees and perfect hiking weather, but I wasn't going to swim.
Even the hotels we stayed in.
Well, we were normally very tired when we were.
Yeah, we got to a hotel and he was like, oh, let's do date night. And I'm like, I can't. It's all I could do to shower and get in bed. Like there was no fun and games happening at any hotels, if they had a pool or whatever. It just didn't happen. Linda wants to know, didn't Largos say in the train station Santiago, I'm never hiking again? He might have.
This is a deep cut. It's been a while.
Yeah, well, I guess he lied, didn't he?
I guess so.
Oh gosh, that's funny.
That just goes to show you there may be another one in your future.
No.
Oh yeah, okay.
No.
So some of the questions, put any questions you guys have there. I'm going to go on to the ones that people sent in. Jackie said, how are you feeling? Any lasting injuries post-trail blues? So I talked about post-trail blues already. I have no lasting injuries. 0. Will, lasting injuries?
My heart was broken every time I watched the video.
Captain, any lasting injuries?
No.
No. And we already talked about how we're feeling. Albert wants to know if we're going to do the PCT in 25.
That's a good question.
No, I already mentioned that. I'm not. He's got too much going on for his work, and I'm not leaving for 6 months. There's no way. Although I could be if I could take them both with me, I'd consider it. Hiking Feeds the Soul says, Will, how did this experience change you? He's now emotionally dependent on a cat.
I gained a lot of weight. That's basically one of the things because of my knee, I couldn't really be active, and because I didn't eat very well. So that was one thing. The second thing is I feel like I knew that we could do a daily vlog. I just didn't know what it would take to do a daily vlog. And so I definitely feel like, yeah, we can do anything.
I think though that,
yeah, I don't know.
I feel like that was really hard on you.
It was really hard on me.
Yeah.
I felt like I didn't. So like the time that I was sitting in Damascus, we had an Airbnb there for 2 months. And for the first 28 days, I was just totally by myself. And I
told him, you need to get out and see people. You're getting weird.
And I thought to myself, this is gonna be really cool. I finally get time to myself. And then I was editing everything else. And I understand what it's like to have solitary confinement. Even though I had a laptop and a computer and everything else, it really played a toll on me. I definitely felt the emotional void of being alone. And I always thought to myself, boy, I could live alone. I could be on an island. I can do nothing. It kind of sucks.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
People need people.
People do need people. And it's especially, someone you've been with forever.
Yeah.
And so that definitely, I felt it more than I wanted to think it would hurt me. It hurt me a little bit. What else?
Are you going to continue sailing around the world?
Yes.
Without the kids?
Without me.
Yes. Yeah. But we're going to take on crew when we do that, because I don't think the two of us should just go alone. I'm not a very good sailor. So I can hold my own. And even though I get seasick, I use the patch and I can hold my own. I can do all my shifts and everything. But with just the two of us, that's really a lot. Because when we crossed the Atlantic in the boat, there were 5 of us on crew, and that made it very comfortable and wonderful. Stephanie says if we do the PCT, she'll be Trail Angel. Yay! Okay, question for Captain. As a teen, this is from Hiking Feeds Your Soul. As a teen, what was it like day in and day out hiking with they did put amazing mom there.
Great question.
Answer it right.
Oh, yeah. I would say, no, it's not as bad as some might think. I mean, we've already have a good connection. And so I think that was already very well set up. I don't think it was that bad. I mean, if anything, I would have liked to go with someone. You were a great partner, of course.
But someone younger.
Slightly younger. There was definitely a few limiting factors, but
yeah.
Younger or faster? He's
faster than I am. He would have finished, before me had he done that. And then he wouldn't have been like a rush to the finish line to do his schoolwork. But we don't have kind of a micromanaging or helicopter parenting style. So that made it really easy for us to hike together. I was very confident and comfortable letting him go ahead if he wanted to go ahead. He hiked some days on his own, and then on a day that I took a rest, and then we split flop the next day or something. So, it was awesome for me, of course, but okay. Sunshine, what kind of internal growth did you see in Captain over the 6 months? Oh my gosh. Well, he was already just really amazing and mature and whatnot, but I saw a greater level of responsibility, leadership, certainty in his decisions, his level of empathy and towards others grew. Internally, oh boy, I mean, he became more introspective and more comfortable with using his words about how he felt about what was going on, and also comfortable talking about what he was feeling, which I think is really, really important.
That's a big thing. I don't think it's been addressed.
What?
How
the internal growth?
Not just that, but like your ability to share what you because in the beginning, like with the vlogs, it's always been sort of Jessica and I sort of narrating what's been happening, and then we get snapshots of what their life is like by them just expressing what's happening in the moment.
Right.
But never did they actually control the story.
Oh, yeah, no, I definitely got more comfortable in the vlog.
And I think Largo, you know, in the beginning was like, Avalon Largo, you wanted to talk about what's happening in the vlog? It's like, no, I just want to, and that's sort of our thing. It's like the kids.
We never force them to do
what they
anything.
want to do, and that's it.
Yep.
But I think you got a lot more comfortable telling your own story on the vlog.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
And I think that's really interesting because it's like a self-confidence.
Right, a comfort with yourself and what you're thinking and what you're feeling, which I think is a great win for this, right?
Which you know, for those of you who've been following the channel for a while, I think you can definitely see that. For those of you who just came on during the AT, you know, you just saw someone who just was part of the story, but it really is impressive.
Yeah, if you go back and watch some old vlogs, you'll see the growth, which is really amazing. And obviously, we want him to be his own voice and advocate for himself and his wants and his needs and what he's feeling. And so, I think this really gave him the opportunity to do that, which was really amazing. That's a great question. Let's see. Heg says, when will Largo leave you for studying?
A year and a half.
So we're all going to New Jersey with him for do the flight, and then he goes to university in a year and a half, and then he'll leave us. There'll be a lot of tears when I leave Will and go to university with Largo. Swamp Fox says 4-state challenge. Woo woo! Love that video. I know, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. In February, heading to Ocean Lake Trail for first through hike. What is your best piece of advice? How long are you going for? And don't overthink it and don't overpack it. Okay.
You don't need changes of clothes.
You don't need changes of clothes. You don't need a toothbrush or toothpaste. You don't need deodorant.
You don't need what else?
No, but the bag, really, really go and evaluate your bag. Ask some people to do a shakedown on it. To be honest, there were only a couple of times where I was like, oh my God, this bag is so heavy. And it was like when we were for 2 weeks carrying summer and winter and had a full food and water pack out, or when we had to carry 4 liters of water through parts of Virginia. But overall, carrying my pack was one of the easiest things I did on the trail. So get your pack weight down as much as you can. Barb says, hi from Maine. Isn't it gorgeous today? It is beautiful out. Jet V says, I feel like Captain started as a teenager, ended up as a young adult. Yeah. I would agree with that. Sherry wants to know, would we do it again? And would I do it alone? I don't have any desire to do these hikes alone. 1 month, 2 months, you know, whatever, but 6 months, I don't want to do it alone. I mean, it's just my thing. That doesn't mean that anyone watching this should be discouraged because I said, I don't want to do it alone. You will form a family and make friends if that's what you want. So please don't let that scare you. That you don't want to do it alone. I really want to be with my people, especially since he's going to be leaving soon. Would I do it again? I wouldn't do the AT again. The only reason is, and I wouldn't do it southbound now, is there's so many other trails. It's like when people say, you know, would you go back to this country? We go back to countries that we really see a lot of value in, and we take people on our group trips back to those countries, but it's very rare for us to revisit a country unless it's France, like kind of like our European home, because there's so many other places to see. And I feel that way about hiking. There's so many trails to hike. I don't want to do a repeat. I loved it. And it'd be
especially
really
not your first one.
Yeah. And it'd be really cool to do it again, because now I know where to stay and where to this and where to that. But there's so many other trails that I want to do. Would you do it again?
Probably.
No, we kind of know the answer to that.
Probably not. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I've been very clear. Not any trail specifically would I really want to visit right now. I mean, that could change, of course. But no, I would say, yeah.
Elizabeth said, how old was the oldest person you met on the trail?
Around 80, I think it was.
I think that guy with the 2 titanium knees, the first guy we met was 78.
Yeah, and we met.
That was a postman, right?
I can't remember if that was that was the other titanium guy. There were a lot of postmen and postwomen on the trail.
Yeah,
I guess they're
postal
really
workers.
postal workers. They were really made for the it's like they've already done all the physical part because they're used to walking around.
Yeah.
What was the question? Just got cut off. The age.
Oldest person.
So I think around 78 or 80.
Yeah.
What was your worst weather? By far. You know which one, right?
Yeah. Neil's Gap.
Neil's Gap. Watch that vlog. We got schooled really early on about weather, and I've never been so cold in my life ever. And I wasn't scared because we were up on the mountain, but we could get off. We had to wait 45 minutes. Go watch that vlog. That was the worst weather, and it scared the bejesus out of me. And I was fearful we'd ever have that again.
It's good that it was very early on though, because we were very much taught a lesson there.
Yeah. Julian said who and the youngest.
We saw a couple kids
from a thru-hiking standpoint.
Yeah, Thru-hikers, I think, like,
you were the youngest.
Well,
that I met as a thru-hiker.
As a thru-hiker that completed, yes. We met
a couple that didn't complete.
We met a few younger kids that didn't manage to complete it.
We met a lot of young kids section hiking, weekend hiking, day hiking. But thru-hiking, now there clearly been younger kids. They're like a family of 14. Last year, there was the family that I said about the 2,000 mile book. They had young ones too. But now doesn't mean they didn't exist. We didn't see any younger than him that were thru-hiking. But younger kids have done it. Elizabeth says, I still have time. You have plenty of time, Elizabeth. Ricardo, thank you for following me, be part of the Translate. I'm subscribed and look forward to future vlogs. Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. Okay, some more questions that people sent in. Is Will working full-time and will he continue to work full-time on the boat? Perfectly wrapped. We did answer that already. Sandra says, hardest part of the trail.
That's interesting. Personally, I would say the last kind of stretch, mainly not because it was like difficult terrain. Of course it was. But I think it was more of a mental aspect of your brain is like, we're almost there. And it kind of starts to give up almost.
The hardest.
It's weird, but yeah, I would say the hardest part was the last.
The hardest part for me was Katahdin by far. There were a couple other trails that were hard, but that one was just so hard for me. Easiest part of the trail.
The last few 100 miles of the 100 mile. Sorry, not the last few miles of the 100-mile wilderness, which were completely flat.
Mine was it the Potomac on West Virginia and Maryland? Is that what it is? I think it's called the Potomac. When he did the 4-state challenge.
Valley?
When he did the 4-state challenge, once we got into West Virginia and the beginning of Maryland, when you go along the river, I think it's the Potomac.
I believe so.
That was flat for like, I don't remember, 8 miles or something. It was glorious. And then we're talking physical. Let's just say mentally the hardest part of the trail. What would you say was the hardest part of the trail mentally? Probably what you said was mental because it was the end of the trail.
That was definitely mental. Yeah, I would say probably, the end of the hike. I don't really think, I think in the middle, we weren't really focused on anything that would bring us down mentally, because if you focus on the end and you're still in the middle, it's quite depressing thinking about how much longer you have.
For me,
I have
Virginia.
I have an answer for you.
Yeah.
I think your hardest part was after we spent some days with Avalon, and then we had to go back on the trail.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah. That was
I think that I could see that in you, that you were just like going, I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course, when you take enough time off, your body takes a long time to readjust. Plus the mental aspect of going back to regular life for a little while.
Virginia was mentally hard on me because I didn't feel like we were making any progress, and I had the Virginia hunger blues, and then when we first hit New Hampshire, it was super hard on me because the terrain got so much harder. I just felt like mentally it was really difficult for me. Will, did you feel like you missed out from Sandra?
Yeah, 100%. I got FOMO on every single call that I had with you on the phone. I had FOMO every time I watched the video.
Even when I called crying, he had FOMO.
Even when because I thought I could.
He wanted to be the one crying.
Because I thought I could save the day, to be honest with you. I felt like I could be that person that you can rely upon there and you know that's my own codependency issue that I had with you. And so yeah, I missed out. I feel like, you know, we did what we had to do to make this work, and I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
You know, and my day will come.
Yeah, well, any plans to hike the PCT or the CDT? Yeah, we said possibly PCT, but no long big hikes until he's launched. We're not going without him. I don't know about the CDT. There's like killer bears there, but look how well I did with these bears, and they're not attracted to me. The bears, they just go away.
I think the thing is, you were just around me too much.
That's it.
You know, I'm bear repellent here.
What do you miss about the trail? I know what your answer is going to be.
I'm sorry, why are you asking me this?
I know he's going to say nothing.
The trail was very fun, but I have to say I'm focused on greater goals now, and I mean, while sleeping in the woods and getting very uncomfortable little mattresses, that seems interesting at first. It does get tiring at a certain point.
I miss a lot about the trail. I don't miss having to get up and go pee in the middle of the night. I don't miss the rattlesnakes. But I miss a lot about it. That doesn't mean I want to go back and live on the trail, but there's a lot of things. I miss the simplicity of it. Coming back to the real world, I have all the real world stuff like everyone, all of us have to deal with every day. And like I said earlier, it's been particularly hard for me coming back just with some circumstances that have happened in my life and the world and all that stuff. So there are often days where, you know, they'll see me kind of dazing off, and I go back to the trail for like 10 minutes of almost like a trail meditation to kind of bring me back around. I want to be where I am. I'm happy to be here, but I miss the simplicity of 5 things I have to keep track of every day on the trail: water, where we're going to sleep, the weather, you know, that kind of stuff. And it was very, very nice to kind of give my brain that kind of just decompress after 52 years on the planet. So I miss a lot about the trail, but I'm also happy to be back here. And like I said, I'm still adjusting and still in transition. So that is kind of part of why I say I miss so much of the trail. Marilyn, at any time on the trail did you feel unsafe?
Rarely, if any.
Yes. And it was not the result of another thru-hiker. And I don't really want to elaborate on it right now, actually. I might be willing to talk about it later on, but I'm not there in a space to talk about it right now.
Something for the book.
Yeah.
Maybe it's for the book, but it was not the result of a thru-hiker. So if you're thinking that the trail might be unsafe.
Absolutely not.
And
the most unsafe part is the rattlesnakes.
And also it was a product of us vlogging. So, you know, that's another aspect of it. What should a person do to prepare themselves for an AT hike?
Watch all of our vlogs again.
Learn how to use the Sawyer squeeze.
Yeah.
What would be your advice of how to prepare for it?
I would say just training in general is the biggest part. I think
mental or physical or both?
Physical. I would say if you take care of the physical, the mental aspect will come naturally. I think many of the reasons that mental strain takes place is because you're either not physically prepared, or you just feel like you're not strong enough to complete it. And so yeah.
And I feel the opposite. And he was really more physically prepared than I was. I feel like you really need the mental in check. If you're going to miss family, you've got to figure out a way for them to either visit you or something. Like I could not have gone 7 months without seeing Will. It just would not have worked. However, I'm really grateful. And I said this in a vlog that I didn't see him for the first 26 days because it allowed me to get into kind of trailhead and my new normal. I think that you really have to think about what your mental struggles are going to be. For me, I thought it would be the bears. And although I didn't like the bears the whole time and I talked about it a lot, I got over the bear stuff pretty quick. And there were other things that were more of a concern. So I would say also talk to people who have gone before you, listen to them. And, you know, this might not be well received, but if someone hasn't thru-hiked it, that specific trail, You know, they may have some things to offer, but if they have not hiked that specific trail, a through hike of it, not part of it, not a third, not weekend, not section, if they have not through hiked it and your goal is to through hike it, do not listen to their advice. Find someone who's through hiked it. And that does not mean that if you may have,
With that, I'm going to say nothing.
you may have 80,000, this person may have 80,000 miles of hiking experience, but until they've done the trail that you're doing, and in the same fashion, they really don't know. So please don't let them scare you. It's like the person who goes to visit a country and stops in the country for one day on a cruise ship and they're like, it's a horrible place. They went there for one day, okay? It's not the same, okay? So really, really, if you're going to listen to people who have done exactly what you want to do. If you want a section hike, then talk to section hikers. Don't talk to a through hiker if you want a section hike, because someone who's through hike the entire trail and you only want a section hike main, they've got a different level of physical and mental ability that you are not going to have. So you can't, they may be saying, oh, it's fine, you'll be fine. Well, it may not be fine for you because you may physically not be in the state you need to be in to go hike Maine. Okay. So, and we've said this for all of our life of traveling. You want to do something, find the people who have done it, not the people whose cousin, sister's, brother's wife did it, the people who have done it, and then ask them the questions.
So with that being said, though, you basically, you got stronger as the trail went on. Do you feel like you were, at the end, you were just like the body got strong and you got to do everything you wanted to do? Or did you still feel like you were not ready for some things at the end?
Well, I think the difficulty level scaled with how far we went up.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it got so much harder in New Hampshire
and
Maine.
It got harder as we went up. So I never think we really got a quote unquote break. If anything, it was the last few miles in the 100-mile wilderness, but that was very.
It always felt hard to me, but I could see my body getting stronger. And I really noticed it, like once we got off the trail, how strong I felt. I don't know if I answered your question. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, you start slow and you build up and you build up and you build up and you think.
But the trail builds up, and you do more miles and more miles. So as you're getting stronger, the trail's getting harder. You're pushing more miles. So you don't really feel it unless you have a lot of time to do the trail and do it slower.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of this is to constantly push yourself, because otherwise you won't really make progress.
I mean, right. We were doing 20-mile days when we hit New Hampshire, and 10-mile days in New Hampshire were killing us. So, just when you're getting your feet under, you're like, I'm strong. Then you're like, okay, time to up the miles. Cause then you look at, your husband sends you a spreadsheet that says you're not going to make it if you don't do these much miles by this date. And, and you're like, oh my God, we got to move faster. And then it gets harder. So, you have to push yourself beyond your comfort level. Unless you have a year to do it, you're not going to make it. You really have to keep pushing yourself, and unfortunately, you have to push through some uncomfortable times.
Yeah.
Julian says, which part of it were most similar to your Camino?
Nothing.
No, the Pyrenees. The Pyrenees
mimics maybe half a day in the whites.
The Camino,
the
Camino Frances was far, far easier. That's the only one we've done. We've done part of what's the French one called?
Le Puy.
Le Puy. We did part of Le Puy. This was far, far harder than the Camino Frances in all aspects. I would say the Pyrenees would probably be the closest part to the trail because it was the hardest part on the Camino Frances.
Yeah,
and that would be comparable to probably the easiest parts on the AT that were not the flat parts, and there were not many flat parts. Let's see. How is your cat doing? Is she allowed to go outside now? Will took her out yesterday, and I took her out this morning and threw her in a pile of leaves, and she was like pissed and came running back in the house.
She's not really interested in going outside now that it's too cold.
Right. She's kind of, she doesn't like the cold that much. What do you think has forever changed in you since hiking the trail? This includes Will, because he was there in some form every day.
My interest in hiking a trail.
It's gone up or down?
Oh, well, what do you think? No, I think that, I don't know. Maybe just my determination. I'm not sure.
Okay, that's good. For me, is taking more hikes and more time for self-care and reflection, and taking better care of myself from a health standpoint. If I don't do it now, then I won't be around at 80. And so I'm really, I've really, and I've done it for the last month, I've really made a conscious effort to take much better care of myself rather than kind of sacrificing myself for everyone and everything around me, whether it's work, whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's for, philanthropic stuff, whatever. I'm still doing all that, but I'm also making time for myself. And I really see an enormous value in going on a hike. So even if it's just a day hike or a couple of days or a couple of weeks, for me, it's very therapeutic. And it's a change in me that I will keep forever. How about you, Will?
I realized that I can pack up everything in 15 minutes and go pick you guys up on the side of the road with the moment's notice.
With the cat. Meow.
and there was just a lot of times where just I felt like I was exhausted and working and you guys called them saying we need to be picked up because the day you got vertigo.
Yeah.
And I was just like going, this isn't ideal, but you realize what you can do when you push yourself to.
So what's changing you forever? If we called you now, you wouldn't come get us?
It's like anything else in life. I mean, you like everything you've done, everything we've done in this life is put ourselves in uncomfortable situations and then realize that everything turns out fine in the end because you're still breathing. And so like anything else, these are just something else to reflect upon that's saying, if I can do this, I can do anything in life. And so, this is just another feather in the cap.
Faith, Health, and Autism says, "Are you really scared of snakes? Was that the scariest part of for Sunshine?" I didn't realize how scared I was of snakes. I thought I was more scared of bears. Those snakes, I don't like them at all. I just felt like they can climb into things and hide in things, and yeah, there's no warning. You just go to step on them, they're like. So no, I don't like the snakes, and I'm still scared of them. Let's see.
We're at 2 hours already.
I know, but they still have questions, and
Okay.
I still got some more. So if they're ready to go, you guys can go. But I'm going to keep talking.
Okay.
Was that the scariest part for me? What do you think was the scariest part for me on the trail?
I have no idea.
Probably when you got vertigo.
Yeah, I got dizzy and I almost got vertigo, and I get it from time to time, and it completely makes me basically incapable of moving for like 24 hours. That was really scary for me. Let's see. Met you guys at Woods Hole back in June. I've enjoyed following your adventures. Congrats. Oh, Woods Hole. Oh, hey, Scott. That's awesome. We love Woods Hole.
Yeah.
Will had some sugar honey iced tea moments. What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know.
I don't know what that means, but I like it. Tell me what it means.
That's the young hip language, which I don't understand.
I don't know if that's much in the vocabulary.
Will, you got to see a moose. What did the rental company have to say about that? Oh, it wasn't a rental company.
Well,
it was
the rental company,
a borrowed car from my parents.
The rental company was pretty pissed.
No, they weren't pissed at all.
They were good.
No, they weren't pissed at all.
So,
they were super
the
chill.
car had full coverage and everything else, and so it was her parents' car, and they lived here. So they understand that this is a fact of life, and luckily they have another vehicle, so it didn't impact them 100%.
We are thinking about going back to that area next week,
and I will not be driving.
And he's like, I don't want to drive because we might go for a day hike. No, we were going to leave you behind. Don't worry.
Wow.
Actually, to answer the question, how was it impacted? I'm now petrified to drive.
Yeah, he is. In rural Maine, he's super
PTSD.
nervous. Yep. Did you meet anybody who met a bear, or were you close to bears? Oh, all the time. All the time. People were walking by us going southbound, like on a day hike, and saying, there's a bear up there a mile up. Oh, I mean, all the time. So yeah, it was quite common on the trail for people to meet bears. It was very rare that I only saw one bear. That's like not common at all. Kelly says, was it harder than you imagined? Yep. Already said that. Absolutely. If you knew how hard it was going to be, would you have still done it? Specifically New Hampshire, Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Maine and New Hampshire were next level amazing. Maine.
Yeah, the views went up as the altitude also went up.
Yeah, exactly. Diane says, where will you live after the trail? New Jersey for 6 months. And how long did Brown Bear stay with you?
He was with us for around a week. 4 days of that was hiking, and then he was with us for a day before we started the hike, and then 2 days after when we came back here.
Yeah. And then he was with us for, I think, 40 something days on our boat, helping us out sail before. So we know him pretty well. Seeking Peace said, did you ever worry about Captain being alone on the trail or him moving ahead? No.
I worried about her more.
Yeah, he worried about me more. There were a couple times that I wanted you nearby. I don't remember why. It was I think someone said someone came southbound and said there's a guy who doesn't seem all right up there or something like that. But other than that, I didn't worry about him. I knew he had the skill set for this. Like I always say, he's been practicing for something like this for 10 years of full-time travel. So we've been rehearsing this, even though he didn't actually do this before. Heather says, what changed the most for you when you started to when you finished? These.
Nice.
I lost a lot of fear. There were a lot of things I was scared about in the beginning. If you watch the beginning vlogs, it was pretty well in, I don't remember, maybe a month or two into our hike before we ever stealth camped. I would only pitch the tent at shelters. I didn't want to just pitch it anywhere. And by the end, I was like, we'll just pitch it right here on the edge of this cliff.
Yeah.
What changed the most for you from when you started and when you finished?
I was open to basically everything for the entire trail. I mean, I think I was the first one pushing for doing stealth camping. I think I was.
Yeah, he pushed us to all the harder things. I would say too that I'm not afraid to hike alone, and I was initially. So I'm not afraid to hike alone at all. I haven't slept out alone by myself. That sounds a little scary to me, but I'm going to try it at some point, and I think I could do it. How about you, Will?
I don't even know.
What changed from you from the beginning to the end?
My knee's better. I mean, emotionally, I have no idea, but physically, my knee's better because of the surgery. So that was kind of nice.
You also got a perspective on trail when you came on.
I guess, I mean, if we're going to throw there out, I mean, I understood how interesting my family could smell if that was ever the case. I think we've all grown comfortable throwing bodily
yeah.
I have no idea what they're talking about.
There's a lot of passing gas, which now seems to be a little more acceptable in public places.
First of all, this side of
that's not me.
There's
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, sugar honey iced teas. Will had some shit moments. Yeah, shit moments. Yeah, he did have some shit moments. The smell, yeah, gross. All right, Heather also says, who was the most memorable person you met on trail?
I have no idea.
For me, it was Courier. You can go back and watch that vlog. $1,000 budget, only eating out of hiker boxes. Offered to buy him a pizza and a beer at one of the shelters, and he said, no, I'm only eating out of hiker boxes. Shared a really amazing, personal, deep story about how he struggles with depression when he's not hiking. He was very open and unique and special, and was hiking with a 5.5 pound bag and in flip flops and socks that had holes in them. And there were a lot of people like Courier that I met, and they touched me in a way that I looked at them and thought, they can do this. I can do this. I have a lot more resources at my hands, and look what they're doing. Obviously, they were all in their 20s, but they were an inspiration to me. They really were.
I'd say for a fun factor, the Wizard. That was an interesting
one. That was
cool.
That was definitely
Wizard was
an
cool.
interesting meet.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go watch the birthday video. The Wizard was super cool. The Wizard's going to be in the book for sure. For sure. And the ladies at Pine Ellis, they were very, very interesting too. Hadley says, what is the monologue as we reach Killington? That's a song that had that monologue speech in it. And I think I've responded to one of the comments on the vlog telling you guys where it came from. Let's see. Did you feel the simpleness of trail routine? Do you feel the simpleness of trail routine will change your perspective or motivation on doing other challenging things in the future? Or have you set up to tackle more? We're always doing these challenging, crazy things. This was definitely, like I said, the most challenging physical thing I've ever done. It's hard to imagine doing something even more challenging. I don't know if I want to do more physically challenging. I don't want to go hike Everest. This was really hard for me, and I'm up for doing the same level I don't know if I'm up for doing more challenging than that. This is pretty freaking challenging. 6 months hiking and sleeping in the woods. Like I don't know if there's much more challenging besides like Everest or going to like Antarctica or something. How about you?
I mean, I would consider something more challenging. I just think
like a calendar year Triple Crown.
that's an interesting question, Dad. No, I would not. So no, Triple Crown would not be my cup of tea. I mean, Everest potentially, but that's very far in the future.
You heard it here, people. Will, I know you would attack us.
I have to start. I mean,
you have to start with the AT.
I have to start. No, I have to start with getting my first marathon back under my belt, and so that is a goal that I have. I have to see sort of how my body responds to the surgery, but other than that, after that, then we start building from there. So, like I went yesterday for depressing. I went yesterday for a run, and I got it like a calf strain, like right in the middle of the run, and so now I'm like on the sidelines again.
But he thinks that's because he didn't drink enough water before he went. So
yeah.
Hopefully he'll be fine. Jet says, "Did you ever feel scared alone?" No, I didn't feel scared alone.
No, never.
I think so this was kind of a part of another thing. Because there was a comment there about lots of strong women stealthing alone in remote areas. Did we see that? Yeah, there were lots of women hiking alone and stealth camping and just randomly in places. You get so tired on this trail that you often forget about your fears when you're out there. You're just so tired. You're just like, I'm just gonna pitch my tent right here and I'm going to sleep. That doesn't mean you pitch it in dangerous places. It just means that your fears that are not as real. I'm not judging other people's fears. We're going to talk about my fears. Fears that were really not valid, logical fears. For example, the bears. I had these fears, but the reality of it is intellectually, I knew these bears, I'd done my research, are not interested in humans. And so when I'd be scared of them, but then when the stakes were raised and I was tired, I wasn't worried about the bears because logically my brain knew the bears aren't what you should be fearing. You're tired, get yourself in a tent and get to bed because the fear right now should be if you fall off a ledge because you're so tired, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
If that makes sense at all. So to answer your question, yeah, there are a lot of women. And how do we find privacy to poop?
We didn't.
What, we just pooped in public?
No, we rarely ever looked for a private spot. No, we rarely ever kind of searched for like, oh, I don't think anybody's coming for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah,
let's
never.
go. It was mainly, well, I mean, somebody comes.
Yeah, and you go off trail, you go behind a tree or a bush. We've walked in on people peeing and pooping. It just happens, or you catch someone just pulling up their pants. But you try to get far enough off trail. And to be honest, the going to the bathroom thing is a huge fear of particularly women that I've spoke with. I had that fear too. That fear will go away after your first poop. You'll just be like, there's other things you're going to be nervous about. And that is just when you got to go, you got to go.
I have a question.
And it really goes away quite quickly. Okay. Your question.
How often were cat holes dug?
Oh, we dug them.
Well, yeah, we dug them, but
Yeah.
rarely ever did we see other people doing that.
Well, I wasn't watching other people going poop. So we dug the cat holes. If the ground was frozen and we couldn't get our shovel in, then we covered it up with leaves and trees and rocks and stuff. I'd pick up a rock and put it on top of it. Sometimes the ground would just not, and sometimes you just can't wait and hike to a ground that's soft enough to do it.
And what a lot of people did normally was we saw a lot of people waited until privies.
Right.
But we had no need for that. I think.
Right. A lot of people would hike to a privy and then go, I don't have that holding ability, nor do I like the privies. I thought they were disgusting. And so I would rather just go out in the woods. But my bidet, you guys, I still love my bidet. Okay. As you were climbing, Kathy says, as you were climbing to Mount Katahdin and it was so foggy, my thought was maybe it was best that you couldn't see the cliff edge and just hugged the rock side. Yeah. So I don't have any fear of heights. And I only sometimes get vertigo if I'm up high, if there's like if I'm going over a bridge and there's water going one direction and I'm walking the other direction. But I do think it probably was good to not see what was below. But there were a lot of things that we hiked that we were on, you know, these above the tree line where we could see down very clearly, and it was like,
It was
whoa.
it was actually kind of nice because you got a great view out of it.
Yeah, yeah. I preferred seeing down actually because I could, you know, we could see the view, and that was actually really refreshing. Yeah, the fog. I mean, the fog is a little scary, but I like if you're going to hike all that way up, I want to see the view that goes along with it. You know,
Yeah,
I just want to see
absolutely.
that. So, and someone had a question. Future hikes. I think we've talked about that. I want to get some sort of at least a 2 or 3 week hike in the spring or the summer. Probably not with the guys, or at least not with him, because he has a lot of other things he's doing. I'll probably fit it between group trips. And anyway, I keep mentioning the group trips, just you guys know, if anyone's interested, we have an AT group trip coming up. It's for beginners, but anyone can come. It's 8 or 9 miles a day in June at the 100-mile wilderness. And we will not be sleeping outside. We'll be sleeping in a hostel each night. So all of the information about our group trips are on worldtanningvoyages.com if you want to go check it out. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. We have a group trip to Morocco next year. We have doing the last 100 kilometers of the Camino, another hiking trip. And then we have our volunteer event in Cambodia. So if you guys have any interest on coming on any of those, please shoot us an email or go check them out. We have all the details of like what happens each day on our website.
And we're really fun to hang out with.
We are. And we promise we're going to shower if you're with us.
Maybe.
We promise. All right. Where in the world with Karen and Wayne, if you could choose only one hike, which would it be? Camino Frances or the AT?
I would say Camino just because it's a bit easier. And also you get a bit more culture involved. But I feel like that's just me.
I would say, I mean, they're so different. Camino Frances you can do in just over 30 days, the AT. But if you're talking of doing the Camino Frances or the equal amount of miles or days on the AT.
It depends on your goals.
It depends on your goals. The AT is what I call type 2 fun. Some days are great and some days really suck. So if you really need a vacation and you need to kind of take it easy and whatever, then I would say Camino Frances. If you want to have someone else handling your food and your sleeping arrangements. If you're just out for, I want to just hike and I want to hit it hard and this and that, the AT is in my opinion was more beautiful than the Camino Frances. If I was going to go hike any section of just picking a section to hike, I would start where New Hampshire and Maine hit and go all of Maine on the AT. That being said, it is difficult terrain. So if you're not ready for it, then you have to mentally prepare yourself for less miles per day. So maybe 8 miles a day or 6 miles a day. It is, in my opinion, the AT was more nature, beautiful nature. The Camino Frances was heavier on the culture and people. So they're two very different ones. That doesn't mean, I don't think one is better than the other, but they're just two very different experiences.
And if you're a foodie, it's not even a question.
Yeah, I mean, Camino Frances, because you'll get to eat the local food, the Galicia of Spain cuisine. And so, you're not carrying the rehydrated meals and all that stuff. So I hope that helps in answering it. They're just so different. And bring different things. If you're going with your family and you want to turn this into a family vacation, then I would say Camino Frances, because you're going to have more time to really be a family and not be worrying about weather and this and that and where you're going to sleep and does someone bring enough water and all that stuff.
Or if someone's not feeling well, they can just take a taxi.
Right. And that's the other thing on the Camino Frances. If someone in your group doesn't want to hike that day, they can take a taxi to the next location. Haig says, is Avalon planning to do any trips with you soon? We never know with Avalon from time to time. She did.
Spur of the moment.
She did. Last one she did was it Morocco over Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Last year? No.
I believe.
Year before?
Yeah, no, that was last year.
Was that last year?
Yes.
That was
Year before.
2022.
2022.
It was the last Morocco.
She's always invited to come. It just depends on her school schedule. She could possibly do Cambodia or AT because they're during the summer. or maybe Morocco next year because it spreads over Thanksgiving. Like she would not do the Camino because that's right in the height of her schooling. So she's always welcome to come with us, and she likes to come if it aligns with her schedule. She's a junior in university, and she has a very, very intense schedule. And she's in all kinds of clubs and has a social life, an intense program, a startup, and works on her business outside of that part-time. So she doesn't have a lot of time to come with us, but she's always welcome to come with us. All right, guys, we have kept you forever. Okay, final questions. Do you guys have any final questions? You want to do another giveaway? How many have we given away? 4 now so far? You had a giveaway of a stat you wanted to do, right? Do you want to do that?
Kind of.
Okay. All right.
So let's see.
Put any last minute questions in the comments, guys. We're going to do another giveaway, answer the rest of the questions, and then let you guys go.
See here, who can come closest to this question? So another giveaway of another bag and sticker and patch and right? That's it.
And Will.
And sure.
And sure for Will for a day.
Of all the AT vlogs, what is the number of views that we got? No.
I thought you were going to say watch days.
Oh, how many?
Okay, hold on.
Hold
New
on
question.
Hold on.
New
No,
question.
that's fine. That's actually a good, like a watch time. How much cumulative watch time do you think that we got?
For all the AT videos we made, and should they put it in hours or
I would
days?
put it in...
Or years.
Let's do it in years.
How many, if you watch, everyone who's watched our AT vlogs, how many years
of everyone
of
that
watch
was out
time
there
that everyone that's watched it all combined? How many years of watch time is that?
I got to refresh it for as of right now.
Okay. Let me know how many years. Can you show me just so I see the first?
I got to do the math.
Okay, so let me say the question again. So Jet says 30 years. Heather says 7. The person that comes the closest. Well, you can go with the person that guesses it or the person that comes the closest. What do you think?
Well, if somebody managed
What's
to
the
guess
number?
the exact number.
Boy, you got to be good if you can guess it.
Okay.
But then, is Deborah still here? She's really good at guessing stuff.
What's the number?
Hold
Hold on. Will doesn't even know the answer.
Okay, keep going.
Wait, what's the answer?
Right there.
Okay. The person who comes the closest to this.
And we'll let this run for a little while.
Okay. If someone, I'm going to give it a minute. See if someone hits it. Okay. Faith, health, and autism. You won.
It was
800.
It was 8.9 years.
8.9 years.
So
all of you guys combined with your watching equals 8.9 years. Faith, health, and autism. Send me your mailing address, Jessica at worldtowning.com.
The exact was 78,000 hours around there. So
Will's a math guy.
Well, I'm looking at the stats on YouTube right here. But so 78,000 hours of cumulative watch time. And let's see here, total views of close to 600,000 views, which was incredible. And that includes some of the shorts that you put on there.
Okay.
And let's see here. So yeah, pretty impressive. We're really grateful for
absolutely
everyone that joined in this virtual trampoline that we had. So yeah.
We did have one question, and this might might freak anyone out if they want to do a vlog. Someone wanted to know how much we make off the vlog. I don't know. I think it equates probably to like 5 cents an hour.
No, it was more
we
than
do
that.
this, guys, because we love it. We don't make a lot of money on it. It doesn't even come close to paying our bills or the amount of hours that go into it. I think we talked about this once before on a vlog that Captain and I would shoot probably about an hour a day of shooting. I would review a vlog each day, 30 minutes. I would do the thumbnails every week, whatever that would take. And then Will would edit and transfer footage and all that stuff up about 6 hours a day, maybe a little bit more.
It turned out when I last did the math of how much revenue we got from this versus how much hours I put into it, I think it was about like $4 an hour.
So we are not, the people that are making money off YouTube, they're unicorns. Most people don't, and we do it because we love it. So I think that, that should be an honest answer to a question. It can pay our groceries, and we're grateful for that. We continue to do it because we love it. And so we appreciate you guys watching it, and paying for our groceries, because we've got a teenager who eats a lot now.
Yeah.
Too Much Garden says we need to get you all nominated for a Webby Award. Yes, I don't know how to do that, but go nominate us. Any last questions before we let you guys go?
And if you guys want to continue to go ahead and sort of be part of this Tramily and sort of connect with us on a monthly basis, we do have Patreon. I figure we might as well throw that out there.
Yeah.
So we get together every month, we chat, we discuss what's going on, we talk about travel, we talk about what
we answer
plans
that people have. And there's all different tiers. Like you can just, do a couple bucks a month and you're like, I don't ever want to talk to you. I just want to say thank you. Or you can do $50 a month, but we actually have a private call because you're trying to, I don't know, you want to move to Africa and you need our help with it or whatever. You want to homeschool or whatever like that. So shameless plug. Okay, last questions. Any questions, guys?
Did you get the name of
I almost
whoever got the answer right, by the way?
Yeah.
They're gonna email me.
Okay.
Just make sure you put what question you answered in the note so I can send you that. And I'll mail those out sometime this week. It's almost hard to let you guys go.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to. I said I wasn't going to cry, and I'm doing a really good job of not crying. It's really been an amazing experience. Whenever we hike going forward, we'll daily vlog it. And even if I go on a 2 or 3 week hike, I will daily vlog it. And we're always here if you have questions. If you're doing your own hike, if you need any questions answered, let us know. If you're thinking about it and you're scared, don't be scared. If you get out there and something doesn't work, you can stop. There's no shame in saying, okay, this isn't for me, I'm stopping. But you'd be surprised at how far you could go. Our intention was never to hike the entire AT and get to Katahdin and check a box. It was just to find joy in the journey and enjoy it. And if it stopped working for us, we would stop. And very early on, we realized we did not want to stop, and we continued. And so if we can do this, so can you. You can't have Will, but
call me. We can talk.
So thank you for all your well wishes there. When we hear from you again, tomorrow there'll be our Cambodia vlog. Just it's a little bit out of sequence.
There'll be a video tomorrow.
There will be a video tomorrow. Just Captain is really trying to get more volunteers and more people donating.
Yeah.
It's tax deductible for his thing that he's doing in June in Cambodia. And then the following 2 days, there'll be vlog interviews that I did with 3 people on 2 separate days, asking them questions. So you can get other people's perspective.
Depending on how today goes, it may be a vlog interview tomorrow.
In Cambodia the next day. And
but
then
there will be more content.
But we've got content coming out.
Yeah, the next 3 days there'll be vlogs coming out. And then after that, there'll probably be about
once
a week and a little bit of a break for him so he can, and they will be, like I said before, but if anyone missed it, there will be a couple months of our older vlogs that were pre-AT that we didn't get to release because we started the AT and we're committed to that. And then in a couple months, we'll be real time again once a week of what's going on in our life and our traveling and all that kind of stuff. And then before you know it, there'll be another hike in there because that'll be springtime and hopefully I'll be hiking and vlogging it. It'll probably just be me, so it won't be as exciting, but we can maybe like satellite in the 2 guys for fun time. So let's see. Captain's ready to shut it down with that. Okay, one last hoopla, guys. Captain, best and worst
of when?
Today.
Best was waking up in a normal bed. Worst, I don't know.
Did you have a worst?
Getting out of the chair. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't really have a worst.
You don't have a worst? My best, I know it's going to sound cheesy, but I'm going to just say it anyway, is chatting with you guys. I really appreciate your questions, sticking around, and just everything. I mean, I'm not going to beat a dead horse here because I've said it so many times, but this has really been quite joyful. Like I said, I've been struggling, acclimated back, and this has really like made me feel really good and part of a community. And I'm gonna miss our daily chats. Worst part of my day is I have to pee really bad, but the best part is I get to go in a real toilet. Best and worst.
Amazing.
So you're fine. You took the best from doing this.
You can copy.
No, but my best was going for a walk with Largo today. We went for like a good half-hour walk, and that was really nice. And then the worst today is that I get to edit more after this thing's over.
And
Oh,
it's not
amazing.
even the AT vlog. Oh, you guys. Okay. You can reach out to us on other socials.
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty good about responding. If you have a question, the best way, if you have a really not important, just any question, the best way to get me is to email me. I don't always get everything on socials, and I'm really, really making an effort to hit 3,000 words a day writing on the book for the next 6 months or whatever it takes. And so I'm on social less. So thank you so, so much. Someone else hit end. I don't want to do it. Bye.
Guys,
Bye.
we'll miss you.
Live the dash, baby.
Au revoir.
Oh.